Icewind is live. We Gucci. And
I'm trying to give you guys back off your fucking markers.
There's no music, by the way.
Not yet.
Can't you just highlight the whole map and give us all the markers?
Fuck no, because you don't have anywhere near all the markers.
Oh, okay.
Fuck off.
I thought we did.
Now I go like this. Click on you. It's back.
Hey, we have the title again.
This should also have a bunch of other markers too, but
Yeah, I know.
okay. Oh boy, do I music break? No,
There we go.
okay. Alright, last we left you guys off, you guys had just gotten to Overeel's Island, which was the Island of Solstice. There you guys had a mission to attempt to stop or get information on the Frostmaiden and retrieve the Codicle of Light. You guys did not succeed in that task while you were there, as you guys needed to recover the Professor Orb first, and the chilling cold prevented you from moving fast enough to be able to do so. After narrowly escaping with your lives throughout many encounters, as well as the Frost Maiden's Ice Garden, you guys reboarded Ongajuk and are on your way to Revel's End to procure warmth enchantments, so you can then go back to the island safely. Like I said, really brief recap, but I covered all the points. So.
Yes.
Does my little ferret friend not disappear, or does he stay with me?
He stays with you.
Okay. Because I remember I was nice to. I gave him like a piece of a ration, and then he liked me. So he's friendly.
The weasel is still with you. Your familiar does still seem to have a problem with it.
My familiar's in his pocket dimension.
Mm-hmm. Right, so you guys are on the back of Ongajuk. You guys have been traveling for about a day now. Some of you still recovering from your previous wounds. And the frostbite. Well, hypothermia. However, the temperature inside Ongajuk is regulated at a nice brisk 70 degrees.
Pleasant.
That's warmer than I've ever been up here.
I'm literally melting.
Yeah, joke's on you at 70 degrees Celsius. We all die.
I know I got my Psi Crystal back at the end of the last session, right? Because you handed it back to me.
Yes, Rando did hand it back to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put it back in its bag that it can't shine light through.
I thought you were keeping it in a scroll case.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. You're right. Put it back in the scroll case. So I'm not like, a beacon.
Did any of you want to do anything or discuss anything while you were traveling?
That's what I was looking at my inventory for. To see if I had anything that I needed to do.
Good.
I'm gonna keep a lookout on, just look around the outside of our little bubble. Just want to spot any more unique things that could be out there.
This time Ongajuk is taking more of a direct path to Revel's End,
It's a different
as it
path.
is a bit farther away from the Sea of Moving Ice. From its bell. So it's not a very scenic route. Looking out, you see a few fish swimming by. You see a few narwhals that have begun following Ongajuk. But other than that, you just see like the bottoms of icebergs cascading down into, well, the abyss.
That's
Everything
cool
around
in
you just
itself.
seems to be dark.
Wow. So, Karn and Adrian, I know you're both native, or at least more familiar up here than the South and the Lord's Alliance. Adrigas, Ferrando, do you have any connections that we might be able to leverage for better prices, or maybe even some more direct support?
Well, if the soldiers up here that are guarding Revel's End, if they know who, if they know who the true ruler of Waterdeep is, and that's who I serve, and then, or who I used to serve before he died, I suppose, then maybe I have a little bit of leeway. It all depends on how much information they have and who they serve.
Well,
I suppose my good looks and charm will perhaps lubricate the situation.
quite a good choice of words. I do have some connection to the Lord's Alliance through my family and my position, so I might be able to further lubricate, as you do say, Ferrando, this situation. We shall see.
We shall see if they care for titles.
If anything fails, I could always perform to see if they would take a liking to us and let us know.
Possibly. I mean, it is Lord's Alliance. They do function under the auspices of many different noble houses, and I believe Neverember, if I recall correctly, is the current head of the Lord's Alliance. So they'll at least respect some level of authority and nobility. So we shall see if any of our titles or positions win us any favor. If not, of course, yes, Karn, definitely do a little dance.
Adrian doesn't think she's gonna be any help.
Oh, that's not true, Adrian. You have your lovely cape.
Yeah?
Oh,
What about it?
Well, it might be worth quite a few pennies.
Yeah?
Copper pieces, that is. Yes, so that would give us the edge in negotiations, yes. What you have is uncommon and not particularly useful for us in terms of utility, and so we could perhaps...
So Adrian will lubricate them with her exotic wares.
Would
all
not
this
have
talk of-
used that choice of words, but sure, yes.
well, you did.
Goods that I have, and then I show him the other pricey items, I would assume, fancy-looking ones.
What were the items that you recovered, by the way?
Yeah, like some onyx
so-
sandals.
Yeah, there were like
I
bejeweled
have-
sandals.
Yeah, I have the obsidian sandals.
Obsidian.
Adrian has the cloak. I have a malachite beard comb set with 7 red garnets, and then I have a hookah made of platinum and a star sapphire. Yeah, that's all I got.
We're gonna get what we want, basically, because that shit's expensive.
Well, Adrian doesn't think that too many people will really like this cloak also.
We'll see when we get there.
You shall see.
On one of the nights that we're sleeping, actually when I wake up rather, because that's when I had to do it. I'm using cantrip formulas to replace light with minor illusion.
Oh, fuck. Velen's spell list isn't going to contain a spell such a copy from your book anymore. I'm going to have to change that too. Because all of the NPCs that were in this shit got reset when it updated.
Lovely. I know it was
Yeah,
Melf's
tell me
minute
about it.
meteors was there, but
It was the minute meteors. Let me look at his spell list. Because I know which ones they were when I see them.
Oh, did not mean to post that. Just clicked on it, but hey, now I can read it.
Why can't I pull up Adrigast's sheet? Why did that do that? I can't. I can pull up Jillian's sheet, but not Adrigast's. Why? I have to reload again. Why is Roll20 so shitty?
Jeez, hit my mic.
What were you doing, Steven?
What do you mean? I already did it. I use cantrip formulas at the end of a long rest to swap out light for minor illusion.
Alright, was anybody else doing anything?
Nope.
Alrighty, as you guys are all sitting there doing your things, Velen sort of speaks up as you guys are traveling. I know you all wanted warmth enchantments, but I think that we should also speak to Prisoner 237 while we're there.
And care to explain why?
Well, let's just say that they know something about the Netherese.
Who exactly is Prisoner 237? I'm assuming he has a name.
He was a member of the Arcane Brotherhood, more of an embarrassment, really. He tried to overthrow 10 towns a while ago, but it failed.
And we can trust the word of someone who is maniacal enough to try and run the 10 towns?
What does he have left to lose?
That's a fair point.
I remember hearing something about this. What do I like? But we played, so it's been like over a month, so I don't remember exactly what I heard. But I do remember this guy.
It was Jillian that heard something about it.
Got it. Okay. Never mind me then.
Velen, I appreciate your trajectory and you wanting to get all of this settled. But there is a greater issue at stake, and unless speaking to this prisoner will take but a moment, I feel as if it's more pertinent now that we have scratched your back with your Professor Orb that you scratch ours and aiding us to dispatch this rhyme. We'll have more
You're
than enough
forgetting
time.
that the codicle that we're going to retrieve is for this purpose. And that codicle
yes.
happens to lead to the Netherese city, which has an artifact. That's the whole reason I'm following you. Is we're getting the artifact to end the rhyme. I feel like going into a lost Netherese Empire city without information would be as good as committing suicide.
Well, yes. I'm just concerned that we don't have the same focus right now, and I just want to make sure that we are on the same page. I don't mean any disrespect, nor do I mean any issue. I just want to make sure that we're both heading in the same direction. And
My
that
focus
is
is to retrieve artifacts from the Netherese city.
noted.
What exactly is he going to be helping us with?
He has information on the Netherese, at least last I know he did. As a member of the Arcane Brotherhood, well, let's just say he was an older member. He was most likely around when they were discussing this whole expedition.
Seems old enough. Information could be useful. Should we survive to actually be able to use it?
I don't see what harm it could possibly do. Yes, let's talk to prisoner. Pardon, what's the number again? 237. Do you think they will allow us simple access to talk to this individual?
Well, seeming how your friend here mentioned that he's a Lord of Waterdeep, and you yourself have some connections as well, I don't see why they wouldn't.
We shall see.
That is, of course, if you all, well, both of you can prove that you have these connections.
I just flash my signet ring in front of my, just show that and be like,
I bring out my insignia of rank and Dorbella's brooch. I believe this will prove not only my standing with the gauntlet.
Order of the Gauntlet.
Thank you. I hope this will be sufficient to prove my membership with the Order of the Gauntlet, as well as my affiliation with the Hawkwinter family. Though it may be best that we leave out that last little detail.
well, and you seem like a learned woman. What do you know of history of the Lord's Alliance?
I mean, I know that there are a bunch of people that try to prevent people like us from getting power. But in either case, both of these things that both of you have shown can be forged. Do you have any documentation? A letter, perhaps?
I have a scroll of pedigree that will show my background, and if they know my pedigree, they'll know that the Lord's Alliance was founded in my ballroom.
Perfect.
So I'm
Then there
pretty
shouldn't be an
sure-
issue.
I'm pretty sure that it's fine.
Yes, I believe it's probably prudent for you to take the lead on this one, as much as I lament that idea.
Are you jealous?
Oh my goodness. Let's move on.
Oh, Fernando Hawkwinter. Jealous. I never would have
I
caught you.
prefer the nameless. The nameless. Alright, I know it's difficult for you to match two syllables into one word, but you can try. The nameless, yes?
Even if you want to become the nameless, as you say, you can never run away from your past.
I don't plan on running away. I plan on about facing and absolutely stomping Garen when I have the chance. It's just that that is not an option at the moment.
Everything's always an option.
I agree. Let's be done with this and get there soon.
Indeed.
I'm taking that yawn was in character. So
Yes.
thank you.
Both in and out of character.
Well, it was perfectly timed.
Alright, so about another day of travel goes by, and then Ongajuk begins to surface. Once the bubble is above the water, it seems to pop, in a sense. However, the temperature is still regulated. You guys just no longer have that film going over you. You guys see, perched on a high cliff overlooking the sea of moving ice, there is a bleak stone fortress carved out of a gigantic blade-shaped rock. A center tower looms above the rest of the fortress. The light leaks from its arrow slits. 4 smaller towers rise from the outermost corners of the fortress, and guards can be seen atop them. You guys can also see, north of you, on the cliff face, there's a 160-foot high, tall cliff with a pier protruding from its base. A giant wooden crane stands nearby, and a wooden scaffold is clinging to the cliff face, leading upwards.
Well, that seems to be the entrance.
Oh, who's ready to enter another fortress?
Oh, this will be my first with you lot. I hope it doesn't end the way you seem to have intimated that it did last time.
If we're lucky, we won't have to kill anyone this time.
Do you still have Gilly's finger?
Yes, we have it in a jar of alcohol.
Moonshine.
Okay, well, hopefully we have a second jar of alcohol, because if it goes the same way, we might need to bring out another person in another jar of alcohol.
I do have 2 more jars.
I think we'll be fine.
As Ongajuk sort of pulls up to the dock, 3 guards stand at the ready, seemingly waiting for you. You could assume that they saw the well surface from one of the towers. They say, "Greetings, adventurers?" I'd assume that's what you are if you're riding Ongajuk.
Yes, I am Lord Isaac Star, 12th Lord Ilvastar, and Cloak of the Lord's Alliance. I request that we be welcomed, if possible.
We'd have to speak to the warden about it. Wait here.
Of course.
2 of the guards sort of run off to fetch the warden, and one of them just stands there staring at you. It shouldn't take more than a moment. At least I hope not.
Oh, it's fine. We've been on the back of a whale for the past however long it was. I think we can wait a few minutes in the cold.
After about 10 minutes, you guys see from the scaffolding a large crane begins lowering down a wooden platform. Off steps the 2 guards that had gone to fetch the warden, and then the warden steps out. It is a human who looks very lawyerly in the way that he's dressed. He is wearing very fine garments for them being cold weather clothing. Very thick with fur, very ornate, very white.
Well,
He sort of
don't
steps
you look
forward.
the part?
Look the part of what?
Never mind. As you were going to say.
Welcome to River's End. I understand that we have an Ilvastar amongst us. Can I see your paperwork?
Of course. Here we are. Produce the scroll of pedigree.
And if the pedigree is not sufficient enough, I can assure you he's absolutely as obnoxious as you might consider nobility to be.
Oh, do behave, Ferrando. I'm
Well,
just...
I happen to be noble myself, so I would watch your tongue. But everything seems to be in order. I can bring you up. You will have to wait in a tunnel. while we try to get your rooms situated. We can
Thank you.
provide food for you for 2 days, and you can stay here for 3 nights.
We appreciate all the hospitality that you can afford. Thank you very much, Warden.
Oh, and one other order of business, I suppose, after you verify the paperwork we shall discuss, but there are some matters that we wish to attend to while here.
Well, I was going to ask what exactly would bring an Ilvastar this far north.
Oh, well, a number of things, but most pertinently, we, the wayfaring strangers, as we have been called, are here to, in amongst the sea of moving ice, to deal with all's rime. We have located her island and found ourselves a bit overwhelmed by her frigid ways, so to speak, and we made our way here to seek warmth, any sort of provisions, possible warming stones, if you have them, at your disposal, that we might make our way back and put an end to this rime once and for all.
Additionally-
So you've been trapped up here then.
What?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I said, so you've been trapped up here then. That's why a lord is this far north. You came for a vacation and then got trapped.
I would not call it a vacation, but with the closing of the tradeways down with the dragon that we summarily defeated, yes, we are trapped, to say the least.
In that case, I can offer you a ship. Out of Icewind Dale and back to Waterdeep where you'll be safe.
I believe that the good Lord Ilvastar has left out a little smidgen of a detail. His mother wishes him to prove himself. You see, the young noble here is to be the head of house. I know, it's very confusing for me as well. After all, if you look at his face, it's a conundrum. But we are here on very serious business, for it is his very nobility that is on the line. So this is far more than a vacation for the young lord. He has everything to prove.
In that case, I assume that you can provide proof of your lordship without risking your life against a god.
Oh. Wait. Did you not just supply the paperwork for your lordship, or was it for your nobility? Because I believe the lordship is pending the glory of ending the rime. Is that not correct?
Fernando, I am patriarch, for better or worse, of the Ilvastar family right now. I am of the elder line, so please, I do appreciate all of your... You're being quite the kiss-ass. I do appreciate it, but... How do I put this?
I think you put it this way. You give the man the paperwork. After all, you are a lord, yes?
I've had the paperwork actually. I just
Oh,
looked
then
it
why
over.
did you need paperwork for the lordship?
He suggests... Okay, what you apparently are missing from... He's suggesting I return because I'm assuming, in his brilliance, because I do assume that he is quite the smart person, quite the smart and informed member of society up here, that we are not able. He is assuming that I should be home and not dealing with such grand issues as Aro, the Frost Maiden. And in return, I say that while I appreciate his candor and his appreciation of my post and ability, I choose to be noble. I choose to take care of things. And if he recalls of the Lord's Alliance's beliefs, one is that, and I quote, that if civilization is to survive, all must unite against the dark forces that threaten it. And if I would, if we were to look outside, and I turn around and the darkened sky, this is the quintessential dark force, and I would like to uphold the Lord's Alliance's beliefs in uniting against it. So
So all this to say is that he assumed you were not here for actual work, which is actually quite an accurate summation, I believe, yes.
be careful, Fernando, you tread on thin ice, literally.
To be frank, I thought that the three of the children here weren't here to do any work at all. That includes you. Brando, your name was, correct?
Yes.
Yes, he rarely likes doing any work if you ask him.
Now, the
I've done
young
more
lord,
work here than you
Brando,
have.
and this child kid, I don't believe that any of you are cut out for this line of work.
Child kid?
I think that all of you would believe should go back to Waterdeep and figure out another way. There are plenty of issues within Waterdeep itself that need solving as well.
Unfortunately, this one has caught our attention, and we shan't be persuaded otherwise.
We
Of
also
you, I
believe.
will not have your blood on my hands.
It won't be your hands, unless you are the Frost Maiden.
Young lord, I would suggest that you stay with us for an extended period of time.
I appreciate your suggestions. Regardless, we also need to speak with a prisoner. Velen, what was the number again?
237.
237.
Oh,
I'm not sure why you would want to speak to prisoner 237, but I can accommodate it nonetheless. However, I will need to be present for the entire conversation, and that's therein.
of course, you are the warden. This is your sphere of influence. We would not assume otherwise.
Yes, I believe that is an actual fair request, given that this is indeed your domain.
Let me take you guys to the map of Rebel's End.
As I am assuming we are either going up on this. What's it called? What you said it was like? There was like a.
It's a crane
lift?
that's essentially like bringing up and down a giant wooden platform.
So I guess I'll turn to the warden and say maybe we can discuss this more sufficiently over dinner. I think my companions and I are still a little worn from our experience on the Frost Maiden's Island, and I believe that your considerations are valid, but I would love to discuss them in more detail.
Surely, we actually just got a shipment of fresh boar, believe it or not.
Oh, wonderful. Was it from any of our holdings, the Ilvastar holdings? I know we tend to deal with rarer meat, but boar sometimes runs out of fines.
I'm not sure if it was procured by the Overstar family. It doesn't bear the emblem, so I believe that it's not.
Oh, probably not then. Well, maybe, here's an interesting, point for you, dear Warden. Maybe, once I return to Waterdeep, I can, pull some strings and make sure that you have some of the best and rarest meats up here. And we could do it at half whatever you are paying for. We could consider what you're rationing, how you're paying for your rationing up here, and I could offer you a better deal. And in return, you might support us in this quest to also do you a favor and end this rhyme.
As much as I'd love to support you in the quest, I need proof that you're capable first.
All right.
No offense,
And how does
young
one
lord,
prove-
but I don't believe that 3 children are quite fit for it, with the exception of you, Half-Elf, and of course you, Honorable Goliath.
So the locals are the locals and the old man are okay, but the 2 young lords are. I see. I understand.
Adrian's a
completely.
local.
I wanna do hold on, this will actually be relevant for this ability. Can we say that I was using Know Your Enemy for this conversation? Okay, I would like to know total class levels.
He is. He appears to have no class levels.
Current hit points.
His current hit point number is 4.
Okay.
Bonk.
Is he, what is this noble's name again?
He has not introduced himself as anything other than the ward. He seems
Do
to
you-
be more of a political man rather than one of strength.
Dearest Warden, I understand that your political clout requires you to be careful with those lives of the nobility, and that absolutely makes sense. But if your conscience must be cleared, perhaps there is someone capable that you presume that I can simply duel.
Ooh,
my
I
lord.
have an idea, Ferendo, if you want to put your money where your mouth is. If the Lord wants some entertainment for tonight's dinner, maybe the two of us could face off so he can see the both of us. And then we can finally see who's better, Ferrando, the Nameless, or the 12th Lord Ilvastar. And then everyone might know what we are both capable of.
And I
As
can provide you
swell as an idea as that is, I'd have to spend the evening with you, and so unfortunately I cannot muster the strength to endure you for that long. Surely, Warden, there is somebody that you deem worthy that I can simply go against.
I can't risk my man or you getting injured. Frankly, I would like to see how your conversation with prisoner 237 goes. And depending
do
on the
that.
information I can gather from that, I can determine whether or not I trust you. Well,
That's
trust
fair.
you with not the die, I presume.
Of course, of course. You'll
What?
never be able to trust this one not to die, and he's flimsy.
What is it to you if we die anyway?
Well, let's just say that I'm in charge of this region of the north, and if I learned that, well, let's say if word got out that 2 lords happened to die on my watch, that it wouldn't look very good on me, my career, or, well, frankly, it wouldn't be justifiable by any means.
Completely understandable. Oh, by the way,
Indeed.
I mean, regardless of whether you support us heading out or not, the offer for better meat always will stand. So I will, once I make it back to Waterdeep, rhyme ended or not, I will make sure to send some, let's just say a spread. So you might sample our work, and we can then negotiate further.
Sure, I have no qualms with that. One little detail that I'd like to discuss, however. Let's say that I don't like how your conversation goes, and I presumably can't trust you not to die. I don't believe that I could live with myself if you went out into the cold and died anyway. So I would like, if I don't like the way the conversation goes, I would like you to at least consider the ship back to Waterdeep.
I understand, and I will put myself as collateral on the line. If you deem it unfit, I've learned a lot up here, and I wish my companions very well. And I will return and see if I can help remotely, maybe pulling strings to aid them from afar. I understand your hesitation, and I will put myself up then as collateral.
Very well. Welcome to Revel's End. And with that, he sort of begins walking towards the wood platform and then waits on it patiently. Velen
Well
sort
then.
of whispers to all of you. Man, he's got a mouth, doesn't he?
Aye, he does.
This is what all nobles unfortunately behave like.
Well,
Would I be
giving you, I could say that that's true.
would I be passively aware of this conversation, or is this like actively being hidden from my ears?
I wouldn't
No,
have
this is
ever
her like
known.
whispering to like the group.
Okay.
She's whispering this to the group.
Oh, you caught me on a good day, though. I'm normally even worse of a time.
And I'm going to crack a smile. Yes, I actually was holding myself back as well.
He's not wrong, though. You are children. Capable children, but children.
Adrian still takes offense to that.
Well, we can't be correcting everybody knowing what we know about you, Adrian, so let's move on.
Never mind.
And this is the platform to go up, I guess?
Yep. So you all step on the platform, the warden lets out a whistle, and then the guards at the top begin cranking a giant wheel that begins bringing you up. Alright, and then you all are brought into this narrow corridor. And you guys can see that this place is very, very well secured. It seems as though they have airlocks of sorts, like magical in a sense. Arcane locks sort of lock behind you as you guys walk throughout the place. As soon as the door closes, you guys see an arcane symbol flash on the locks, locking it behind you. If you all would wait here for a moment while we prepare your brooms.
Certainly. Thank you for bringing us in from the cold.
Of course, every place in here is above 68 degrees. We find that to be the most suitable temperature.
Adrigast? Those ruins there. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Adrigast, those ruins there. Are they to keep us in or to keep something out?
Well, I mean, seeing as this is a prison, it's more than likely to keep whoever, keep the prisoners in. Anyone, I've seen this before, right? Was that just like the regular arcane lock spell?
Yes.
Yeah. It's just the traditional arcane lock. I know that, I've seen the spell before. It's when cast, it's either set to certain people have permission to open the door, others don't, or a password could be said to unlock the door. But
If our host gets overzealous, I'm going to whisper this very quietly near Adrigast. If our host gets overzealous and traps us in, can you undo these locks?
well, I don't have the spell necessary to break it, but the doors can still be broken down or picked regularly, just it's much more difficult.
Good thing I brought this and then I pat my ram.
Yes,
Oh,
well,
I love that.
Let's do that. Let's hope it's not very necessary, Isaac. I believe we will need to put our differences aside and be persuasive.
But
I
See-
think we are
seeing as
able to do so.
Seeing as how this is a prison, I assume it's not a password setup. I'm assuming it's permissions, which I'm gonna just add as a test. I'm gonna try the door that we just came through and see if it opens for me.
It does not.
Okay. And did I hear anything? The people who let us in here, did I hear them say anything to the door to open it?
You did not.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Very well. Isaac, let's be persuasive when discussing matters with prisoner 237.
I will do my best. As long as it's not my my cousin, I'll be happy.
You have a cousin here?
Well, I presume. I don't know. My uncle has a number of bastards and children out of wedlock from the family, one of which, last I knew of them, they were wandering about in the north trying to evade the law, so if they had been caught, which I don't think they're smart enough to not be caught, but...
You think that were they part of the Arcane Brotherhood?
No, by no means. They were an idiot.
Then you have
They make
nothing.
me look smart. I'm an idiot, but they make me look smart. They're much more of a Karn. I think you would actually like. They would are much more of a punch things and see how quickly they fall kind of guy.
Well, I think you should have nothing to worry about then.
Yes, I'm just, it's you want to be aware of, not caught off guard. That's all.
Valen, what are the most important things we extract from 237?
Well, information with another race. As far as I understand, he has extensive knowledge on Ithrin. I'm not sure how extensive, but I know that he attempted to use some artifact to overthrow the Ten Towns and control it politically. He was thwarted by a group of adventurers, I think it was 7 years ago.
Well,
Has Adrian heard of that before?
How long have you been in Icewind Dale for? I know that you live here, but you aren't native, because you're originally from Waterdeep, so how long have you been here?
To the Google Docs.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
You having lived in Icewind Dale, your entire life, you would have heard of him. His name is Valish Gens. When he was attempting to overthrow the Ten Towns, he took on the name of Adgar Kessel, which was another wizard from the Arcane Brotherhood who obtained a very, very powerful artifact called Shinabon, also known as the Crystal Shard. He took on this name to attempt to intimidate people, and as an attempt of gaining more influence over Ten Towns.
I actually moved here 7 years ago.
Oh,
So it would have happened like as soon as you got here then. Yeah, it happened 2 years before the rhyme began.
I will relay all that to the party.
well, I'm glad we know who we're or not fighting. Trying to just extract information from. Also, so you know, I'm just muting so you guys don't have to hear me totally devour this ear corn that I'm about to eat.
I wish you would just not mute so I could hear that. In my life. That's
There you go.
Glad I made a little timeline type thing at the end of my backstory though, so I can easily figure out where I was at what times.
25 years old. Nice.
Yeah, big sad.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't have the knock, nor do I have the dispel magic spell. So
Lucky. Knock's essential.
Battering ram it is.
yeah, I was gonna take dispel magic next level, but I took counterspell instead for for level 7.
Fireball incinerates us in the hallway.
I mean, when in doubt.
Oh god, fireball. That's disgusting.
Forgive me. Karn, what did you say this man's name was? This prisoner 237? What his true name was?
Valish Gent.
Velish Gent. Good to know.
What was the name he goes by? Or change it to?
No, he is considered prisoner 237. It's his allotment number.
Okay.
Oh, the name that like he tried to take over, Adgar Castle.
Edgar Castle. So, I foresee us going two different routes. Either we could try to feather his ego and lure him into a false sense of security where we can sort of coax the information out of him, or we can, I don't know, browbeat it out of him. Ellen, what do you think? What do you think? Do you know Ghent?
I can tell you that Gaunt wants nothing but his freedom.
Okay.
If you were able to speak with one of the speakers, try to get a reduction in his sentence, he might be a bit more lean to give us information.
Do you know how long his
We'll have
sentence
any good
is?
offer to take him out of this place.
Oh, I don't think that's.
No,
Well, I don't think the
very
latter.
stupid idea.
I mean, at least we are of the same mind with that. How do you know? Happen to surmise how long his sentence is?
Probably lifetime.
I'm not quite sure. I just know that he was probably expecting the Arcane Brotherhood to free him, but I doubt he knows that he was such an embarrassment.
Perhaps a deal, then. What if, should we end the rhyme, I mean, we would absolutely have political sway and clout at that moment. Perhaps we could exercise and cash in some of that in order to get a reduction in his sentence.
Unfortunately, he thinks that he is the smartest person in the room at all times. He's not going to accept a deal without proof, like a letter from one of the speakers saying that they'll reduce his sentence.
Well, okay. Here's this. The only way that I could foresee anyone giving him a reduction of his sentence based on what we know with him taking over the 10 towns. If we can get a letter from a speaker or whoever controls the sentencing around here, anyone who can give him a reduction, if we retrieve a letter from them stating that if the rhyme is ended due to the information, or if we end the rhyme, and then they will reduce his sentence if he helps us by giving us the information we need in order to end the rhyme. Therefore, he would have had direct, what's the word that I'm looking for here?
Involvement?
Yes. Direct involvement in ending the rhyme, therefore reduction in sentence.
That sounds actually quite reasonable.
But again, he would require proof.
That's why we retrieve the letter that's from whoever controls it, saying that if he tells us what he knows and we end the rhyme, then they will reduce his sentence because he helped.
Well, our best chance at that would probably be the speaker in Bryn Chapter.
Even more of a. I was hoping that this would be a one-stop shop and not a. We head here, then we head to another place, and then we head to another place.
It can't be helped, Isaac.
The longer that the rhyme continues, and the longer that all of those families are left homeless, stranded, the more people are going to suffer from this. We need to get this done sooner rather than later.
What are we all waiting for anyway?
You guys are waiting for the warden to get back from prepping rooms.
We're
Got
told to wait in a tunnel. Is this a tunnel?
Yes,
mean-
this is the tunnel that you guys are stuck in.
This is a
Okay,
prison.
Well, perfect.
I'm sure they have medics on standby, clerics. I'm sure we can persuade one of them, or maybe they'll just be willing to send a sending spell to the speaker, and we can relay messages that way.
Fair. And our host seems to be fairly well politically connected, so I'm sure there is some level of familiarity. We shall see.
Indeed.
after about 15 more minutes, the warden comes back and he says, some of the council members aren't here at the moment, so I'm going to accommodate you in their chambers. My chamber will be semi-close to yours.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Tell me, do you have clerics here?
We have people who deal with divine magic.
Capable of casting a sending
And
spell?
people that are capable of enchanting.
Did you hear my question?
No.
Oh, I asked, capable of casting the sending spell.
Oh, about your earlier question, by the way. I lied. They have... I was looking at the wrong character sheet for the Warden. The Warden has 5 levels into Wizard and 40 hit points.
Oh,
Okay.
you were looking at a guard, weren't you?
I was looking at one of the other council members.
So he's 5 levels into what?
Wizard.
Wizard.
Oh, interesting. The warden is a wizard.
It's not that interesting.
I was looking at the other characters.
Usually-
I also realized that the Warden is female. Or, no. Wait, yeah, female. Her name is Marta.
Okay, whatever, that's fine.
We're just using a generic mage, like, token, though, so...
That does sound like something they would do.
Okay.
So you said there were people who can do enchantments and what else?
She said that there were people that do enchantments and that there are people who deal with divine magic.
Didn't answer my question though.
What was the question?
I asked them if they had anyone capable of casting a sending spell.
We deal with most of our things through letters. We do have one that handles sending, but she uses it to be able to communicate with the Lord's Alliance and Neverwinter.
That could be useful, in theory. Good to know. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna give a
how many
silent
leave
glance
here?
at Advergast.
I don't think you guys can move through walls because of reset everything. Oh, you guys can. Cool.
Yep.
The fastest way will be through the spell block. Pay the prisoners no mind.
But no, you said you casted just a silent glance at me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because it was the Lord's Alliance and Neverwinter was just said, right?
Right.
How many
So-
prisoners are in the cells as we go by them? Or are these empty?
There are currently...
Hmm.
26 prisoners.
In this block or just in the whole
This is the block. There's only one block in Rebel's End.
okay.
Okay. And then what was the Neverwinter Lords Alliance? Is that they have affiliations with the Neverwinter Lords Alliance, or that there's a representative here?
No,
This prison is like managed by the Lord's Alliance.
yeah, this is a
Neverwinter,
prison by the
okay.
Lord's
This is
Alliance.
the Lord's Alliance prison.
This is where this is like their Alcatraz. This is where they send like high level prisoners.
Gotcha.
And then the person with the only person that can cast the sending spell usually communicates with the Lord's Alliance, I guess. But while we're walking through here, I actually want to do like a quick circle around the like block and see, just like take a quick look into the cells and see if there's anyone that I recognize.
I would be
try
with
to
you.
quickly circle around. The warden stops you and says, "I'm your escort. You need to be following me."
Okay.
Of course.
Well, as we're passing, can I look into the cells and see if I recognize anyone?
Sure, do a perception check. Exactly what are you looking for? Like, who do you think that you might recognize?
Oh, just I don't know. Just want to see if there's any criminals I recognize that are here. That may have been like, you know, high-level criminals in Neverwinter that I don't know. Just curious. They don't have anything specific in mind.
I doubt.
I'm going to say no, just because even though you might be familiar with the crimes in Neverwinter, you might not know, like, you aren't going to know the criminals' faces and that sort of thing.
Like I wouldn't have seen them on wanted posters or anything.
No. Well, you might have seen some unwanted posters, but none of them are here.
Just for shits, because I talked about this cousin of mine. Could I roll a perception check? I mean, I know it's not going to bring up to anything, but just for narrative's sake, do you mind if I roll a perception?
You can. I'm going to tell you, though, that I have not had a chance to read your 18 pages yet, so I'm not going to be able to incorporate him.
That's totally fine. I'm guessing with 13 I would not, and don't worry, I'm going to use that narratively to say, oh, he's not here, probably means he's either still out there or
Dead.
was brought back, detained back in Waterdeep or some bullshit.
Not dead. Froze to death.
Yep. Coolio.
Everyone you know is dying.
Only 18 pages.
I sent it to you, by the way, so if you want to take a look and...
Given that you read all of mine, yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
a look at it. All 20-something pages of mine.
Don't worry, my next one's gonna be 50. I'm gonna start writing it while I'm at work.
Or am I?
Like, free time. I actually am debating like writing an actual book while at work because there's nothing else to do.
I mean, it would make for excellent role-playing.
Everyone comes to our next game just like full books in hand of their character's backstory.
Yes. Amaya
And Amaya
reads
curses us
4
all.
books, 5 books.
And then we just get Jade, just right off the bat.
So the next campaign that I probably want to run with this group, because I don't think that my homebrew... I think that I want to run a homebrew Ravenloft campaign before I start, like, running games in my world. But at least so I have experience at least running some homebrew in, like, a pre-built world before I start doing homebrew for my homebrew.
Were we gonna do, like, Waterdeep, or were we...
After this, after this entire campaign, so like after you guys hit level 20 and this campaign is concluded, I want to do one at Ravenloft.
Okay, alright, got it.
So like after both arcs, because right now you guys are in the Icewind arc, and then there will be the other arc afterwards, which deals with whatever it is that you guys don't know.
Gotcha.
Totally no. Don't lie to me.
Well, you guys know that it has to deal with
I know
that it's going to
entire
do something to do with Ferrando and Neverember.
But I've read your notes.
Wait, what? When did you read my notes?
I'm just bullshitting you.
Oh, okay.
I was like, this is either some 200 IQ clever, like, hacking roll 20, or he's bullshitting. And either way, it's funny. No, it's funny.
Alright, so these 3 rooms are currently in use. You guys are free to choose any room aside from these 3. They're all empty because the maps are very blank for Frostbite.
Sure, I'll just take the first room on the right. Or, well, on the first room on stage. The first room on stage right. Not, but from our perspective, would be left.
I'll take second stage, right? Or yeah.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
Sorry, could you ping? I was like outside, I was over here. You ping again?
These 3 are in use.
Gotcha, okay. I will take this one then, at the end.
That one is across from the hall from the warden's room, actually.
Ah, interesting.
I'm assuming just basic accommodations, bed, maybe a table or something like that.
Yeah, the very, well, these are rooms for council members, so the scale on this map isn't, like, to scale, at least I don't think it is. Let's see if it is. Yeah, so it's not quite to scale. but they're actually pretty decent sized rooms. They're very lavish, very gorgeous.
Eh.
Arn sleeps on the floor. He doesn't know any better.
Adrian
Oh,
was
this is-
also going to sleep on the floor.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Adrian can't comfortably sleep in a bed after not doing that for, what, 8 years? Or the floor
So Cory
stone.
and Adrian are both sleeping on the floor.
Yes.
I'll sleep in the
Oh.
bed. Are we going to bed right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is currently like evening.
Cool.
I will use my sleeping bag.
You guys will have supper, and then you guys will be going to bed after you guys have supper with the warden.
If we ever make it back to Waterdeep and we don't all die terrible deaths, I would love to host you all at my ancestral villa. It would be wonderful. I mean, I know you're unfamiliar with the niceties as it seems, but oh, it would be wonderful to have guests again.
Well, I assure you it'll be more riveting than the last noble ball we attended.
Oh, don't remind me, the Bellabrantos.
What's a ball?
Oh, we should throw one for my that would be one good dance, Karn and Adrian. I would be fascinated to see your insights onto everyone. It would be wonderful.
We should
Maybe we
probably
shall.
make sure Khan knows at least how to do a semi-waltz.
Oh,
Should a individual of Khan's size step on someone's toes, I do believe that would be disastrous.
Will there be
Oh.
gladiatorial combat?
we could make sure it's programmed for the evening, just for you, Karn.
Okay.
I believe he's saying he wants to be in the combat.
Oh, I know. It'll be wonderful. We can, I mean, the duels that you used to do, we could, who knows? We could program it into the evening. Maybe,
Well, your
maybe
ball,
s-
your rules, Isaac. But
maybe something
perhaps we
from my
should-
vault. Maybe something from the vaults. We could offer up as whoever wins receives a grand trophy.
yes.
We could get back at the Bellabrantos by putting up their old griffin tack. That would be fascinating.
I suppose that I would just wait in my room, or just be with wherever Ferrando is until dinner.
Can I trace that picture, Amaya?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It will be a sleight of hand check.
Oh boy, with disadvantage.
What do you mean with disadvantage? Why?
Because
do I
of your,
have disadvantage from my enduring wound.
Oh shit! Yeah, that.
Ooh.
We should get that checked out while we're here. Maybe they can get rid of it.
Nice. You're trace it without like any issue. Your hands are a bit more shaky than you're used to, but no problem. The DC was like 5, so
Awesome.
Adrian's still recovering from her last wound, but I wanted to give this to you as thanks.
Thank you, Adrian. It means a lot to me. I hug you.
Sure,
Oh, you also
show
have
it
a
off
plus
to
4 to
many
your sleight of
people.
hand, so even if you roll a nat 1, you'll be fine. So like, whenever you like trace things, I'm not gonna make you make a check.
Awesome. Adrian is very talented at
Tracing.
knowing and memorizing, and then picturing with parchment of memories.
I can tell. Unfortunately, I can't do very well as I try to draw a picture, like a stick figure of me and Adrian.
Wonderful.
He draws a stick picture. Looks like it was done by a 4-year-old.
That's still
Masterpiece.
fantastic.
Right. After about an hour of you all in your rooms consolidating amongst yourselves, the warden comes out and he knocks on each of your doors. I believe that we've prepared the feast.
Marvelous.
I can't
Please,
wait.
the cooks have informed me that it's complete.
Then let us feast.
Too far. There we go.
Just to double check on my, like, I don't have any of the paperwork that Isaac had, right? Like, that would be in my inventory. Because, like, I just have
What's your
to...
background?
If
If you have a noble background, then yes, you would have it.
where... do I check my background? I mean, Like
top
the
of your
story?
character sheet,
top of the character
No, like
sheet.
background, like your actual background.
it's top right.
Okay, soldier officer.
Soldier.
I have
Okay.
the rank of insignia. Insignia of rank. So, Order of the Gauntlet, I imagine.
So yes, you would be able to use that in place of the scroll pedigree.
Okay.
He went this way, up.
Oops, wrong door. Combat commences.
Oh boy.
Does he just interrupt all of the guards?
I need you all to make a what is it? Saving throw for poison.
Hmm.
Alright, so you guys see a bustling kitchen in here. You guys see cooks busy at work, and it's just like all around extremely, like busy in here. The warden sort of looks at all of you and says, I figured that I would like to see what what the cooks do here.
Much appreciated.
It
You
looks
see right now
scrumptious.
they are roasting the full boar that we caught in our shipments earlier.
Hmm.
Well, if we go to the previous room, the mess hall that we were in, I believe that they'll bring it out to us shortly.
Wonderful.
Am I close enough to just grab like a small piece of food? Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check. Because I assume you're trying to do it not being seen.
Yeah.
Couldn't be worse than Karn's. Hold on, let me knock on wood.
I draw.
Right, so are both trying to take food?
Oh no, I'm just trying to take a small piece of food because I want to feed it to the ferret.
And Karn, what were you doing with your sleight of hand?
Oh,
yeah,
that
you're
was my
trying to
drawing.
take a picture, that's right. So you managed to take a small piece of this loaf of bread that's sitting on the table, and the warden sort of looks at you and gives you a side eye. You're welcome to just take the loaf if you're going to do this uncivilized about
Oh.
it.
Sorry, this isn't for me, and I'll reach into my robe where I'm assuming the ferret just hides in because it's warm, and then I'll just show the warden his little ferret head and feed him the bread.
That's an odd place to keep a ferret.
It's warm in there for him.
Well, no, that looks more like a weasel to me. Is that a weasel?
Weasel, ferret. I mean, they're pretty similar, right?
Either way, they're both marsupials, correct?
Believe so.
Well, in any case, you should just take the entire loaf of bread and ask next time.
I was just giving him some food. That's all.
In other case, it is rude to take without asking. If you'd simply asked, then, well, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Whatever.
Adrogast is the most of apologetic.
I telepathically tell Ferrando that he's a prick, or that the warden's a prick.
I will give a nod to that.
Imagine going into somebody's house that like you don't know, and then just going into their into their like cupboard and taking like a piece.
He
of
was
bread.
showing. He was showing us the kitchen. I didn't just go in there and take it. He was showing it off.
He told me I was too young to save the day. Fuck this guy.
Karn should have just walked up to the boar and ripped a leg off.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna do that. I kind of want to do that just to see.
All right, so you guys all make your way out to the tables and sit down. And then the cooks bring out a giant tray containing a whole roasted boar, complete with apples, steamed apples on the side, as well as various vegetables. It's sitting on a giant leaf of green, something that those of, well, Karn, you've never seen anything like this except for like kelp, essentially, when it comes to like greens.
Karn is going to grab a piece of it and eat it.
It tastes like water, and very fibrous. Not something you're quite used to.
Is this just solid water? What is this?
It's good for you, Karn. Especially for someone of your physique, it is quite good for you.
Well,
It allows us to be regular.
I'll say one thing as I grab a part of boar leg, rip it off, and just have like this giant leg as I start nibbling on it. This is healthy for you. And I start gnawing into it.
It's healthy with quantity, I presume.
Yes,
Fats and
Oh,
carbs
wow.
give us the calories we need to make it throughout our day.
exactly. And beer. Lots of beer.
My lord, this is who will kill the Frost Maiden herself.
If we absolutely have to, but yes.
So-
If you say so.
Would you like
So-
to see a drawing of him killing a dragon? Which he did just a few days ago?
Of course, young one. I very much enjoy pictures.
God.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out the parchment of memories and just envision like that final blow or whatever and hand that over to him.
Flying polar bear.
Wow, this is very detailed. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's like a moment caught in history. Did this
It
actually
is.
happen?
Yes.
Yes.
Adrian was trying to kill him. But he
Yes.
killed the dragon. And Adrian didn't kill him after that.
It wouldn't have been possible without, as much as I hate to admit it, Isaac and Adragast's assistance, but yes, ultimately the killing blow was done by Khan.
He is a grand warrior. The
Why
best
not
that
this
these northern
stubborn?
tribes have to offer.
Quite
Yeah.
bestial, as I would say myself, on the killing blow.
Well, that's very, very good. I've never seen a child draw quite like that.
Did you
Give
hear
it
about
talent
what,
for it.
did you hear about what happened in the 10 towns?
We prefer not to. Well, you see, we've been trying to get the Speaker of Enchanter to join the Lord's Alliance for the longest time, and eventually we just gave up. The matter of the 10 towns is not something that the Lord's Alliance needs to worry about.
Well, it is in the instance when the entirety of the 10 towns is destroyed.
Well, that's not an issue for us.
You should at least
We
be
are here
privy
to
to the
accommodate the
information.
we are here to accommodate the prison and ensure that no prisoners escape.
Might I suggest, Lord Warden, that now is actually the best time for you to consider bringing 10 towns into the... They see you as a wonderful resource.
Well, as far as I know, he just said it was burned to the ground.
Oh yes, but they're going to look for someone to help. If you have all these resources here, you would be seen as a savior. They would of course join the Lord's Alliance in general.
Much
I
as I
mean-
hate to agree with Isaac, he is right. The political leverage cannot be understated.
If 10 towns is burned to the ground and razed, then I don't see what they can offer the Lord's Alliance.
They will rebuild, though it will take time.
And with your guidance, then 10 towns would become a bastion of the Lords of Alliance fleet. An
It
ideal.
would be a long-term investment. Yes, the rebuilding would take some time, but undeniably you would have sway in the 10 towns that had not previously been attainable.
As a Warduke, I'll bring it up in the next meeting, if it so pleases you.
It does. I just want to ensure that the best is for you.
As long as the Ilvastar family is willing to give proper accommodations to the people of 10 towns in their recovery until it's rebuilt.
Of course.
If, of course, the Ilvastar family has the funds for such things.
Oh, I believe we could open our coffers for such an occasion.
Perhaps it would be wise to take some time to write back to Waterdeep, Isaac?
Noted.
Now, on to the other points. If you all are going to be walking out into the tundra, while you do have Yeti fur-lined clothes, I'm not sure that you... Well, it appears that only some of you have Yeti fur-lined clothing, actually.
Yes, that was a rather late addition to this fair band of world warriors. So I did not benefit from whatever exploits they may have found before my time.
It appears that the half-elf also does not have it.
Indeed. Such is the truth.
You could also
Cared.
use whale blubber or blubber as well.
Would you care in helping us resist the cold?
Well, above all, I am still the warden here, meaning that I do still have to make accommodations for our supplies that we may be lending you. Do you have anything to trade?
We do, but perhaps we have dinner first.
Of course.
This boar is delicious, by the way.
Business is always better on a full stomach. I think we can all agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I figured that we'd like to enjoy it before they grind the scraps to feed to the prisoners.
Well, we appreciate your hospitality, Warden.
Adrian thinks that even the scraps would be wonderful.
Exactly. Why waste them?
Well, they won't go to waste. They're
I
for the
know.
prisoners.
My dear lord, where might our Lady Velen be? I know she was attending here. I just don't see her at this table.
I haven't dragged her sheet on because
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be doing combat, but she's there, I promise.
Okay, just making sure. I was just like, well, is she like trying to break somebody out without us knowing? Like, you know?
No, she's there. I'll
Being
drag her
aware.
sheet on.
Okay, cool. Oh, you were right next to me the entire time. I do apologize.
Orange just standing off to the side, closest to the boar.
mm,
Yes, well, the floor is Casey. I'd like to speak to prisoner 237.
In the morning.
Well, I'm glad we are of similar minds, my dear Adrogast. Sometimes age and beauty do work in synchronicity. What's the word? You're
Isaac,
always the smart one, aren't you?
Isaac, you talk too much.
I know, it's wonderful.
Everyone but you.
Adrian doesn't think he was trying to compliment you.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
And I'm-
okay.
Trying my best not to take it as a slight.
Oh. Adrian,
It was a slight, Isaac. Regardless, maybe it's now that we've had our fair share of this wonderful feast, perhaps it's time to discuss trading and what will be necessary for us to brave the Dale, particularly the Dale of the Frost Maidens. well, fortress.
Well, I can tell you that normally we charge a premium for our services up here, as trade from the south doesn't come often. But I'm willing to mark it down 25% of our normal price for you, as you are members of the Lord's Alliance.
Well, shall we have the table cleared and then all our, well, valuables for trade on the table? Would that be suitable?
Let us just move to another table then.
I don't know.
You guys just move over to another table.
We just move to the right.
So, do we agree to lay out what we have for trade? The obsidian.
All the
Sandals,
valuable
yeah.
shit that is no use to us.
So
Yeah.
I have a pair of obsidian sandals. Adrian has the quilted smoking cloak with
Yeah,
50
make it work.
gemstones. I have a malachite beard comb with 7 red garnets, and then I have a hookah made of platinum and a star sapphire. Yes.
I believe that these will all suffice as payment. Yes.
Give me just a moment. He leaves and he goes to the previous room where you guys had seen the guards, and he comes back with what appears to be a scholarly fellow, sort of holding a book against his chest. They come back and they say, "This is our accountant. She happens to know a very good appraisal spell. It will tell us the exact value of the items, and then they will go through and calculate the numbers to tell you what we can take them for, and then we can negotiate from there."
Yeah, that sounds fair to me.
You watch as the timid girl goes through and she snaps her fingers and mutters a few words, and so the wizard girl is a halfling, the warden is a human, and then all the guards that you've seen so far have been human as well.
Thank you.
So she casts a spell several times on each of the items that are laid out, and she makes notes in her books. And then you watch as she sort of starts scribbling down math and going through math. She looks and she says, "You have some fairly valuable items here. From the math that I've done, it appears that the sandals themselves are worth 250 gold pieces, but of course we give you that price because, well, with 10 tons being obliterated, we have nowhere to sell them, meaning that we would have to pay for the ship to Waterdeep as well. So we could give you 245 gold pieces for the sandals. That's 5 gold pieces to cover the expenses of travel. And then the beard comb that you have with 7 red garnets. It appears to be worth 750 gold pieces. For that one, we're willing to give you 740, once again to cover the expenses of travel, as well as the expenses that we'll require to sell it. However, the hookah, this is very valuable. It is worth 2,500 gold pieces, and we are willing to pay you 2,400 for it.
Minus 100 gold? Is there a reason for such stodgery?
There's not very many people who have the amount of money necessary to purchase such things. It will take time to sell, so it'll be sitting around for quite an extensive period of time.
Do go on.
Those are the items that you've displayed.
The cloak.
Oh, you did display the jacket as well.
Yeah, because everybody wants me to.
I didn't say anything.
I just said that Adrian had it. I didn't want to sell it because Adrian wants to keep it.
Adrian, let's at least get it appraised.
This is a self-smoking jacket. It has 50 gemstones inlaid in it. I've appraised it to be worth 500 gold pieces.
Adrian?
Now, in addition to the frost clothing, which would be how much exactly?
Well,
If we're talking about the price of the warmth enchantment, the materials needed to get it are very scarce out here. we would be charging you 105 gold pieces per week. They would like on the clothing. As for the Yeti fur for your companions, we're willing to throw that in as a sign of our gratitude, I suppose. Well, not gratitude, that would be the wrong word.
Good faith.
There you have it.
Well,
So
I'm-
Yeti line clothing for everyone here, and the warmth enchantment. How effective is this warmth enchantment relative to, say, the oil?
It's very effective in terms of keeping you warm. Out of character, it would give you an additional +5 to your frost checks.
Okay.
How about whale blubber?
Well, we would need people to craft the Yeti line clothing, right?
yeah, because I did still have a pelt, but it was never used.
Plus.
Hmm.
Sure,
And
they
we could
can
use
make
some
it
more
though. They said
warming
they said they
stones.
could make it.
Okay. So this is how much gold we have to work with right now. And is it 105 for the enchantment per week per article of clothing?
Correct.
Oh, geez.
Well, no,
okay.
no, per like suit of clothing. So like per
Per
set
person.
of gold clothing.
Essentially per person.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, yeah, per person.
So 105 times 5.
Divided by-
525.
We could get 37 weeks. 37 10 days, right?
Correct.
That would
Okay.
be more than enough in theory.
Won't we want like some warming stones
Oh.
and some more oil and possibly
I
whale
think-
blubber if they have access to any of that, or do they just have access to the warmth enchantment
That-
and
that-
Yeti fur?
Yeah, that's my thing.
They have access to the warmth enchantment and Yeti fur. And then the girl that was going through and calculating it, she says, I could also make you rings of warmth with the warmth enchantment engraved on them. However, those would be much more expensive.
How
That's,
much would they be?
Those would be 750 gold pieces per ring.
Per ring.
And that
my
one's,
goodness.
but those are
Okay.
permanent, right?
Those ones are permanent, yes.
You make
Hold on.
potions of cold resistance.
That's not my area of expertise. I focus on, well, tailoring and enchantments.
So that would be +5 for. We could afford 4 of those rings.
No, we could afford 5 of them. We could afford all 5 of them because it's only 3750.
Yeah.
So we could either afford rings or the enchantment.
We have
I would
for,
rather.
for gold. We have this. Sorry.
We have 3885 from what's
Right.
on there, and it's 3750 to get us 5 rings of warmth. So one to be one for everybody.
How much excess gold do we have on each person, too?
If we do that, hold on, 18%. We would have 699 gold left. Looks like. Is
For
that
what?
correct? No, I don't think that's right.
135.
135, thank you. Yeah. Be 135. So we would get 1 week of the warmth enchantment.
For one
Well,
person.
the warmth enchantment would only it doesn't double stack.
Ooh, good call.
Like
Okay.
if it's the warmth enchantment is on the ring of warmth, which is permanent.
Right. So then we would have. Hold on. The DC was what, 30? Right? It was really high.
We can get the fur. We can get the Yeti fur clothing for me and Isaac practically for free because they said they're gonna just throw that in.
Yeah. So that's +10, and then the warming stones. We'll need to buy some warming stones.
Yeah, I only have 2 warming stones left, so.
Oh,
you
I
can
think I
buy-
have 1. Yeah, we can buy some heating stones, and that would be +5 for that.
Yeah.
And then the
And then
ring would
the-
be another +5. So that would mean we have to roll a 10 or higher to just pass the DC.
And that's a con check.
It's
No, it's a frost check.
frost
It's a
check.
frost check.
Got it. Sorry. Yeah.
But
10 is still pretty high to risk it for the biscuit.
Well, 10. I mean, because it's. But also, there's also the warming salve or whatever that Velen had.
Yeah. How much
How-
were the stones in the salve?
Do they have salve here?
They do not have salve here. They do have some stones though. Because again, the salves are all chemical, and she doesn't specialize in alchemy.
Does can
Goliath
Vel-
is what, plus 10 or plus 5?
+5.
Okay.
Does Velen know how to make more salve?
If she had the components,
What are the components?
it would be an entire quest line.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
got it.
So I have 5 Yeti eyes still that are in alcohol, so I know we said earlier that they can make potions, so are they pretty much useless at this point?
They can give potion. I forgot. Was it potions
It was
of vulnerable
potion of
cold? Was that
Cold resistance, I think is
cold
what we said.
resistance? Okay.
Is that an alchemical potion?
Yes, that is an alchemical thing. So it is something
I
that
can
Velen
make
could
it.
use.
So,
Or you, yes.
so
No, Velen.
I'm gonna put my pirate cutlass on the table. What would the appraisal for this be?
Oh shit. 1 second. Let me look.
2 gold.
You're gonna check over that one. Yes.
250,000 gold. Let's all become liches.
No, I forgot completely about it because you haven't been using it. So
Yeah, I just
need
used
to
it
go
when
back
it was.
into my document really quick to find the one shot. Easel's Magic Mansion, please. Where are you?
Yeah, I've been carrying those Yeti eyes since we killed them in the beginning. I was just like, I'm trying to find someone, but who knows? Same
I
with
would
that
buy
Yeti.
anything else of value.
I have 100. I have 170 gold, of which I'd be willing to put forward 150.
I only have 22.
I
gold.
have nothing else of I have nothing of value, practically.
Adrian has lots of things of value.
I have that piece of Chardolin.
No.
I don't think so. That.
Adrian has magic cards, a magic staff, a magic bag,
We don't want to sell everything, right?
a magic piece of paper.
This
a
dog
magic
has to
candy.
go. I have to take my dog.
Yes,
She's
let's
like
sell our
trying to
dogs.
tip over my
Adrian
microphone.
has pictures.
The Pyrus Cutlass, they're willing to pay 75 gold pieces for it.
He just took his dog out.
Yeah, he'll be back.
So, a possible 75. That's a ton of gold, though.
But I mean, like the gold, like I said, the 38.85 gold gives us all rings of warmth, which is pretty good. Because that's something that's normally really hard to come by, and we're practically able to get it pretty much for free just by trading out the items that we have. Or the expensive items that we have, rather.
So, we could become unharmed by temperatures as low as 50 degrees. So we get what, just another +5 then?
Yep, it's an additional +5.
And I already have resistance to cold, so that wouldn't stack.
But it would give us it gets resistance to cold damage, right?
Yes.
Ring of warmth does, yeah. Like that would be so
So
good.
you don't need a ring of warmth. because
Ring
you
of
already
Warmth-
have resistance.
The ring of warmth would still give Karn
The
a
+5.
+5, right? Or no?
So that would mean
Isn't
Karn
it
only has to
because
roll a
he has
5.
I would say,
resistance?
does the ring of warmth
So-
give us a +5 because it gives us cold resistance, or does it give us +5 for something else?
It gives you +5 because of the cold resistance.
Okay, so Karn doesn't
Karn
need it.
doesn't need it.
So we only need 4 rings of warmth, which is 750 times 4, which is only 3,000. So that leaves us with a lot more wiggle room.
Then we can
The
make the salve with the potions with those eyes, and we could also purchase more
Warming stones. And
warming
I could probably
stones.
make those while you guys have the rings.
So with the ring of warmth plus warming stone, that's +10, and then the Yeti line clothing is another +10.
Well, the
Right,
headline
so we
clothing
still
is
need
+5. Because you get +5 for just the cold weather clothing, +5
Right,
for the
right.
Yeti fur, +5 for the Ring of Warmth, and then +5 for Warming Stones, which right there is +20.
Right. So you still need to roll a 10 or higher to avoid the consequences of. Well, wait, hold on. It's 1 point of exhaustion for.
If you fail it by 5 or less, it's only 1 point of exhaustion. Yeah. So we'd only have to roll a 5 or higher. If we rolled at least a 5 or higher, if we rolled between a 5 and a 9, then we'd only get 1 point of exhaustion.
Our biggest obstacle right now is anyone getting 2 points of exhaustion. And so what I think we might want to do is we might want to have Karn pull somebody, like have them lay down on something so we don't have to slow down. Like that's the only thing I can think of is like bring a sled to the
How would we get a sled there, though? I don't
Yeah, you
think
guys
we
had to
go-
leave your sleds back at the Ongajuk spell.
I think
That's
he
where Velen
means
had to
just
leave her
like
sled.
an
Like an
improv sled,
improvised-
like a piece of wood.
That
we
you
could
can
use a
drag.
bedroll.
Yeah,
Like-
and then just like tie it up with a rope. Just
Yeah.
something really improv.
Yep, you guys could do that.
Okay.
It might damage
Karn's
the
the only one.
So would what? I'll ask Velen, I guess. With the eyes that Karn has, what else is needed to make potions of cold resistance?
Well, I would need some Frostmirium. As well as some Aquafortis.
Adrian's taking notes of all this.
There was one more thing, but I don't remember quite what it was. I think it was juniper berries?
Do I remember?
Yeah, go ahead and make a nature check.
Nature. Not herbalism?
Well,
Like
herbal.
herbalism
If
kit check?
you could make a check with herbalism kit. That's fine.
Okay.
It would be based off of wisdom though, if it's not
Yes.
already.
Yeah.
Okay. You do recall that juniper berries do have effects to resist cold.
Makes sense to Adrian.
Faustinium, I have Yeti, juniper berries, and
Aquafortis and stuff. Any of that we could get, around the surrounding area, or maybe you have it, looking at the warden.
Again, we don't specialize in alchemical ingredients. We specialize in enchantments. Enchantments and boards is what keeps this prison together. We don't need potions if everybody is able to be kept in good health anyway.
Would
fair enough.
actually, out of character, would the potions of cold resistance stack with the Ring of Warmth?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So it was 750 times.
It's 3,000 for the four Rings of Warmth for those of us who need it.
Does the enchantment on the clothing stack with the enchantment of the ring?
To specify, so when it comes to frost checks, the things will stack. So, for example, the ring would stack with Trunk's resistance. Even though they're both coming from resistance, the resistance won't double, but the bonus to the frost check will.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So what does
Okay,
Karn
so
have
we
though?
get-
Like,
So
what
I have a +20.
right now?
Yes.
And that's without a warming stone.
That's just with everything I currently
Yeah.
have. So no warming stone, no salve, no nothing.
I think you can get by just fine with just using warming stones, because then as long as you roll a 5 or higher, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that
Um,
as I think we ideally we get everybody to that point.
We need a +25 for everyone, which
So it's warming stone. That's
so we need
Yeti.
what we're missing is just one extra thing. So we need, because if we all get the Rings of Warmth and the Yeti fur for both me and Isaac, everyone will be at +20 with a warming stone.
Yeah.
So
And
we're just
then-
we just need like whale blubber or something.
I thought whale blubber was for the tent, not for the clothes.
No.
Was I wrong on that?
Insulated tents
It
are-
was for the clothing and tents.
Yeah, you need
insulated
whale blubber for both.
shelter's a cool thing that we could get though, possibly.
We don't.
Yeah,
we
and-
don't
and-
need it with Adragas spell.
Yeah, I mean, my dome allows us to sleep just fine.
But
Now, if he dies, we're
spell
fucked.
slot.
Now, there's no
Yeah.
such thing as weapon enchantments, are there?
No, there is.
There is. Okay, I'm going to ask that. Could you possibly enchant our weapons to make them kill better?
I mean,
No
it's possible. I don't believe I have the materials for that enchantment on hand. Smiths are typically better at those sorts of enchantments. We do happen to have one here for general repairs, but I'm not sure if he specializes in them. He's a member of the Battlehammer clan.
Out of curiosity, you said it's 105 gold for a week's worth of enchantment, and that's per individual, correct?
Correct.
Hmm. The Isle of... I'll look towards Velen. The Isle of the Nezarene. Do you think it will be as cold as the Frost Maiden's fortress?
I'm sorry, the what? Do you mean this? Do you mean the Netherese city, Ithrin?
Yes, Ithrin.
It's most likely colder, seeming. Well, actually, it may be more insulated. I'm not sure what Oriel is doing with it really. She's the one that sold it away. It could be colder, it could be warmer. If we think about insulation, then it should be warmer, but it's unknown what the Frostmaiden has done with it.
A week's enchantment may not be enough. Times 4? 420. So we would have enough for 2 weeks.
For everyone.
Everyone but Karn.
Oh, toxic. Living him out in the cold.
Alright, literally. So that's 2 weeks. Or 10 days, actually. So that's 20 days. That's actually quite significant.
Hmm.
Do we want to do that? That's everything we have.
Yeah,
Oh, that's everything from the items.
Sorry. I just want, like... It's just so expensive for the enchantment.
Nothing says we can't also get stuff from, like, her fortress that's also really expensive and worthwhile. Like, it is expensive to drop 880 gold, but also, like, if one of us gets hit with... Well,
How
sorry,
much-
like...
Well, but how many
can't-
warming
we can't
stones do we
get-
need? Because we
How
can't...
much more?
I have 2.
I have 1.
Well,
Isaac pipes up for the first time in a while and says, "I'm willing to add to this pot if we need it. If we need more,
If we
I
have-
do have some reserves left."
Because I would recommend each of us have... How long... Warming stones last for how long?
8 hours. I
Okay.
believe. You can check in the alt rules section.
Yeah.
But before we set out back
They
to...
last 1 day.
Yeah, so before we set out back to the island, I recommend we should probably at least have 2 to 3 warming stones each.
And the warming stones cost
50 gold
20 gold.
each. Oh,
50
20?
gold.
I thought it was 50, I thought I heard.
Once you use the default price, here they double it and then give you a 25% discount. So
So you said it was 30
40
then?
with a 25% discount
Oh,
would be
40.
30.
Is that 40? Yeah, that's 40.
Okay. In that case, I can purchase 4. I will purchase 4 for everyone.
At
'Cause-
30 each.
At 30 each? Oh, in that
Yeah.
case.
30.
Oh, then I'll purchase 5. I'll purchase a day's worth for
I
all
have-
of us.
A day's worth. It
They're,
lasts
they
for a
they
day.
they each last for a day.
No, as in a day's worth for all of us. As in, I'll purchase 5 of them.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay. Oh, 5 of them total. Okay.
Yeah.
So, alright, that's 2 heating stones for me.
I already have
And
2.
then,
So are you just buying 1 for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
So that brings me down to 21.
Alright,
if I
so
had-
just 3 then.
how is everyone on rations?
I got 22.
I'm-
I'm pretty solid.
Yeah, I got 12. I'm okay right now.
I'm at 10, but
I have enough for 14 days, so I have 14.
But I
Are
do.
we gonna take the 20 days of enchantment?
I think we do that. I think we
Yeah.
we get the 4 rings of warmth, and then we get the enchantment on the 4 of us that need it, and then that way we'll all have with what we have for at least 20 days. With everyone using a warming stone, we'll all have plus 25.
Ring of Warmth exists in the compendium, by the way.
And I think a plus 25 is solid enough for us to go back to the island.
Yes. So that's Yeti, Warming Stone, Ring of Enchantment, Ring of Warmth.
Also, I recommend you guys do what
And the
Kenny
plus
does for his prospects, where he has everything like individually as modifiers. Then he just clicks them and then rolls a d20.
So how did you do that?
He set them each up like individually as
Gotcha.
like damage
Okay.
modifiers. I believe.
Damage
right?
modifier.
Did you do damage modifiers, Danny?
I did global attack
Global.
modifiers.
Oh, yeah. So yeah.
Okay, global
Yeah,
attack modifier.
Ring of Warmth, and then that's +5 instead of the D.
yeah. So we all have plus 5 due to cold weather clothing, and then plus 5 for the Yeti skin or for the Yeti fur, plus 5 for the Ring of Warmth, and then those of us with the enchantment get the plus 5 for the enchantment. Karn gets gets an additional plus 5 because he's a fucking Goliath, and then we all use a Warming Stone, which gives us another plus 5, which for 25.
So that's a frost check, and that's just a roll of d20. So that'll be damaged 1d20.
And then
Also, Adrian, they are also offering to replace your boots since they are currently damaged.
Adrian would really appreciate that. Oh, do you get fresh gourds here often?
Fresh what?
Gourds? Like pumpkins?
Not really. No.
I could turn a bowl of soup into a pumpkin, if you would like that.
Unfortunately, I don't believe we have the spices that would make it taste very good. But thank you for the offer.
I figured I would. I'll come back if I do get some spices.
what do I have a -1? Oh, because it's strength. So it would be this. The modifiers.
Yeah, and then you would click on your attack modifiers, and it would change it.
Oh, I
I
have
used
to.
in -1 though.
Because instead of I have wisdom.
Because you have it all as plus. You just need to set it up as
Yeah.
values, not plus.
Okay, got it. So just no plus, just add 10, etc.
And you're not. Let's see, hold on.
Let me look at your cheat. And see how you have it.
Yeah, because I was also about to do that. Frost check.
Brandon.
So we're talking Ring of Warmth, Yeti Furs, Warming Stone, and Potion of...
Okay, yeah, so that looks right to me. No, wait, it's -1 now. Should be no.
What are you clicking on for it? You have to get rid of your fighting style for it. Well, actually, what? Oh, that's why. You just changed that to nothing. I just fixed it for you, so it should work now.
Okay, sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That works.
All right. So basically, now none of us can get our speed in half, because that's the big thing. Was the 2 points of exhaustion was fucking unacceptable low.
I'm still having trouble, apparently. So,
Let me look at how you did.
sorry, yeah,
All right. I can also screenshot it and then send it to you.
much appreciated.
Snow goggles. I don't-
What's the enchantment called? Warming enchantment?
have this set up correctly. However, let me.
That's how I have my.
Oh, we are getting the warping enchantment, so that...
Yes. So we are out of all our second.
And that's for everyone except for me as well, correct?
Should be, probably.
10, 5, 5.
Woohoo! Need to roll a 5.
You are missing something. What is it that you're missing?
Is it possibly the frost check that I've formatted that incorrectly?
No, I'm saying that you're like missing one of the things.
I just have them all set up like this as attack modifiers. So
Fair.
Cold weather clothing, Yeti lining.
No,
Ring
you
of
had
War?
it correct. You had it correct.
Okay.
You just have to set up
And then I
a
just-
weapon attack for
yeah,
it.
and I just set up a weapon attack with it's no bonus from any of your things, and you're not proficient in it.
Okay,
And
so
that
no
way-
bonus. So it's so I had it set up as a damage. I'm an idiot. Okay, so it's no attack, not proficient.
Well, no, you do want to
So
set up an
don't worry about
attack.
any of that. You want it to be set up as an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
Just
this
like-
should be
not-
like how you have it now. Should
Yeah,
work.
it shouldn't. It's just not
Okay.
based
Yeah,
off.
it's working.
Yeah, just not based off of strength, con, or anything like that, and then
There
not
we go.
proficient in it.
Got it.
Yeah,
There we go.
whatever it is working for you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, does everybody have it figured out now?
Yes, because Denny is masterful, and this was a good idea. And thank
Well,
you for.
I didn't do it like he did it. I did it different.
Yeah, Denny just has it set up as like separate attack modifiers that he just clicks on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I do think that this is a better way of doing it, though. Since
Oh,
it
it
only takes
definitely
like one
is.
thing.
And like you have to add stuff.
You want me to set it up for you, Drunk?
I mean, you can if you want. I mean, I have the set up like Denny's in the modifier. Or do you want me to set it up as an attack?
Well, it's just because you might not have all things active at once, which is why.
Well, no, he always has the plus 20. He'll always have the plus 20.
Yeah,
Okay,
since
so
we-
you don't have
we've
to worry
gotten all
about
the,
it then.
all the clothing.
The only-
plus my resistance
The only
and
thing that he'll have extra is to get the 25 is just the warming stone to pump him to 25.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because he already has 5 from the cold weather clothing, 5 from the Yeti lining.
Well, keep in mind that your clothing can become damaged, and then it's only a +2, not a +5. So keep that in mind. Damaged items only grant a +2.
Well,
Okay.
then we just refrain from getting our clothing damaged.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think we're good with that. So, can we can go back in character now and conclude the deal?
Yes. So I think we're all in agreement then. The generosity of the
believe
Yeti's
so.
clothes is very, very generous. We will take 4 rings of warming, and Isaac so generally will pay for the warming stones, and then we'll take 2 10 days worth of enchantments on everyone's clothing except for Khan.
That sounds fine to me.
And that leaves us
We'll
with
wait to do the enchantments for when you're about to leave.
Much appreciated. And I will not forget about this grand, well, not grand, I speak myself too well, the option of enriching your provisions, let's say.
Oh, and how much was this little pirate's cutlass?
So 75 gold
75.
pieces.
Yes, I believe I should probably just keep it then.
we have 5 from after getting the 4 rings of warmth and the 2 10 days worth of enchantments on the 4 of us. There is 5 gold left over from the items that we traded. Just FYI. So whoever,
Each gold piece.
yeah, we can each add a gold.
Oh, Adrian's rich again.
22.
I have 15.
I'm at 2.
23.
I have 23, 10 electrum.
Because I spent every last dime of gold, every last gold that I had, plus other people who donated to fucking copy some spells from
awesome.
Velen.
You're most welcome. No, I'll have to get in touch with you after the game because there's some old 3.5 edition material that outlines how much each noble house in Waterdeep might have, and I'll just figure out how much I actually could afford to send up as far as, you know.
I'm not really worried about the logistics of your house because you actually won't have access to all of those funds. Like,
Oh, I'm
as a
sure.
player, you won't. So.
So it would probably just be a persuasion check to see if I could send people that way. I understand. I get that. I was just seeing to what extent you were. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the logistics of it.
Cool.
I understand that you're very into the logistics of things, which hence the 18-page thing, but...
Sorry, yes, I do. I do get caught up on that stuff. I do.
I care about logistics, just not to that point. Like, I care about having the details, but not the devil that's in the details, if that makes sense.
Yes. So I'll forget that they say there's 35,000 gold in resources. Got it. Forgotten. Good deal.
Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a ring of warmth. Let's see. Hold on.
In the compendium.
Yeah. I don't want to do that because it's just fucking. I have to redrag my.
Oh no, you have to re-pop out your character sheet.
Yes.
Oh!
No, because it breaks. The last time I did that, it broke, and I had to reload, roll 20. I don't want to do that.
It takes 2
Imagine
seconds
having to
close it
reload.
and reload it.
Actually, it takes me like 5 years to reload my roll. But
No, I meant like reopen his character sheet.
Okay.
Like it takes 2 seconds for him to close it, drag it on, and then reopen it.
Wait, how do you add it? I guess from the compendium.
If it's not, if you didn't pop it out, yeah, you can go to the eye, search Ring of Warmth, and then just drag and drop it on your character sheet.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, compendium is super,
And
super,
it
super
does-
super useful.
For anyone that matters, because I don't know, it does require attunement for the Ring of Warmth.
Oh, no. What about all my other attuned items?
Which are exactly 0. Well, actually, wait. Do you have any other attunement?
I have one item that requires attunement, which is my Psi Crystal. So this makes
Yeah,
2.
but they have magic items from measles, so they might actually
I
have
don't
stuff
have
that requires attunement.
So let's see. The ring gives you cold
Because
resistance.
the Hat of Disguise, that got taken by Cornelius, correct?
Yes, Cornelius has a hat of disguise.
Okay, then yeah, that was the only thing that required attunement that I had.
About the blood funnel.
No, that
On the
doesn't
blood funnel does not
attunement.
require attunement, no. It'll say in the description if it does. Who has the Mace of Disruption, by the way?
Jillian had that, but she
Ah,
But
right.
I believe someone scooped it up because remember when we were trying to appease before Jillian got kidnapped, we were trying to appease the dragon. I can't remember her name. And I dropped literally every magic item I had on the ground and said, "Here, take it." And then she's like, "Nope, I'm gonna take you." So
That toad of
Go, Corn, keep it up.
tricky treat sugar bombs, but without the sugar bombs in them, and it just has all of Jillian's stuff in it, and it's just labeled Jillian.
But yeah, so literally, whoever picked that up has every single magic item that Jillian had, because she dropped every magic item on the ground.
Well, it's never going to be used until we get Jillian back.
Karn has all of them.
Do I? don't
I think you were the one. Yeah, we can say that you were the one that picked it up. You have the most carrying capacity.
I was gonna say you're the one who would probably be most likely to just carry it all for us anyway.
I'm the packing mule, yep.
Unlike
Okay, I will give Karn access to Jillian's magic items then.
At least it wasn't Dory.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Fucking-
you know, I'm pretty sure Adrian can actually use the mace. And I could have that be my dedicated weapon. And I could do some cool shit with a mace.
What is your current dedicated weapon?
I don't have one because I don't need to. All my weapons are considered monk weapons already.
There.
I have a short sword and a staff of pumpkins, And those are already monks.
Oh, you meant your current weapons are, not like all weapons.
Oh,
Okay, I was like, wait, what? I was like,
Yeah, no, a dedicated weapon is one of the monk special abilities where I can
Yeah, I know,
use
from
it as a monk
Tasha's.
weapon. Yeah.
So yeah, the mace of.
But I
It would
could
be
just
good.
use that, and it
Good.
wouldn't decrease my damage at all.
Yeah,
It'd
you
actually
good?
increase it against
Undead.
undead.
Yeah.
All right, let's say we give it to Adrian.
It deals an extra
Yeah.
it deals like an extra d6 radiant damage to undead, and then if it kills an undead, there's like a percentage chance that the undead explodes.
Are you sure we want to be
Oh.
using Jillian stuff? Like,
I think
you're,
Jillian
you're,
would
you're
understand.
confusing this with Anthony's Umbra one. This one does not explode.
No, wait, huh?
it exploded all over me in the last.
Yeah.
time we killed the undead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See,
ghost.
if it has 25 or less hit points after it takes damage from it, they have to make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or be destroyed on a successful save. Like,
Yes.
But like,
But it's not like the explosion, like the AoE explosion that Anthony has or anything.
No, but guts and
If they just get
rotting
destroyed.
parts
Yeah,
go everywhere.
I said they explode.
All right.
I didn't say like in a violent explosion,
Well,
but they
could
explode.
explode, depending on the type of undead.
Oh, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's an extra 2d6 radiant to undead.
Anyways, this is now on Adrian's handouts.
Oh, rip Jillian.
Using my shit.
So this could be for literally every attack. Holy crap! Undeads and fiends will explode because of Adrian. Would have been useful when we were fighting the undead giants. Oh well.
I will mention.
I was gonna say if
Yeah.
only Jillian wasn't kidnapped, but whatever.
But should our conversation with prisoner go awry and the wonderful warden over here deem me unfit, whosoever you choose to bring you along in my stead should take all of my things, and I'll just jump on this. I don't know. What am I saying? I've had... No, just because I put myself up as collateral. Just in case the warden deems us unfit to, or deems me unfit to go out. He doesn't want the blood of a lord on his hands. If someone were to wander in... Sorry, her hands. My apologies.
I'm gonna feel real bad if you guys roll a bunch of nat ones and then you just wrote that 18-page thing and then it doesn't get to be used.
Oh no,
I'm gonna be real bad
Well,
with that.
like I said, that's the whole point about us having a plus 25. Even if we roll a nat 1, we only fail the DC by
No.
4.
No, we're
we're
talking
talking
about the persuasions.
persuasion
The,
checks.
Persuasion checks are gonna be made while you guys are talking to the prisoner.
And you know what? That's part of why I did it. It's the love of the game. I enjoyed making characters. I enjoyed putting all this work, and if it isn't actually brought to use, that's okay. It's all for the fun of it, you know?
Hold on 1 second. Why did my AC go down to 19? I had 20 AC, I recall.
I don't believe. Let me look at your sheet and make sure that's right.
Getting them out of the way.
Oh, it's because I unchecked your fighting style.
Oh,
Because you're fighting, because you have to uncheck that when you're doing the shit. Or no, my bad. No, you do have 20. It's still there. I just unchecked it because I was testing stuff with your frost check.
Got it. Okay.
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 Well, any other business that we need to attend to before we rest?
Well, we do need to talk to prisoner 237.
In the morning.
Yes, I suppose we could just retire for the evening.
Also, Denny, you don't have to manually do it. Mace of Disruption is actually an item in the compendium.
It is?
Uh-huh, it's an actual, like, item.
Well, I'd have to manually adjust things anyway, so it's fine.
Would you?
Yeah, I have to manually adjust, like, the stats and stuff that it uses. Because I don't use strength, but...
Oh,
since it's going
you
to
would just have to
change
change it from a drop-down menu, yeah.
I'm not too worried about it.
Well, thank you very much for your assistance, Warden. I think unless we have any other further business, we should settle in for the evening, enjoy your accommodation, speak with prisoner 237. 247, whatever their name is.
Well, and
237.
and
We
they
can
can
take them
assume-
in the morning. And were you going to be staying with us for the full 3 nights, or were you leaving tomorrow?
Whew.
That is a good question.
Let's take it one day at a time, shall we?
Well, as you wish, but keep in mind that the warmth enchantment does take time to complete, which is why I'm asking.
Also, do we have the rings of warming now, or do we not have? Do they have to go make those?
They're currently in the process of being made.
Okay, well we'll have them in the morning or something.
You will have them when they are finished.
I suppose we can wait until the enchantment is prepared and the rings are ready, yes?
I think that's our best bet, as far as timing is concerned.
Indeed.
Well,
Besides, we still have yet to talk to the prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
well, if you don't mind, I shall retire.
You rolled a 50.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure that it shows DC and everything else correctly.
Nice.
You are so sure that it came out of the screen and hit you right now.
Ooh, easy.
Does my 50 hit the evil god?
No, actually.
Oh no.
Healed. Alright.
Right, and as you guys settle in for the evening, I need to go to the bathroom, so I'll be right
Oh,
back.
I was gonna do something before I went to bed. But I'll do it when you get back.
I would laugh so hard. I mean, it's par for the course, but if if Isaac just gets sent home after this, that would be fucking hilarious. I mean, you're lucky I have like 5 different backup characters that I could possibly bring that would fill the hole. I mean, they wouldn't be nearly as cool just yet. I would need to flesh them out a little bit over the next few days, but also have a hell of a time explaining how they got brought into your group. Maybe they're a prisoner. Maybe we pull like a what's the Suicide Squad kind of thing.
Aren't we already pulling that though?
In thought, not in practice. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I have an idea. That'd be fun.
I can't respond back to that, right?
Huh?
I cannot respond back to that, right?
No. Well, unless you come to my room, but
Would Magic Initiate give me that cantrip as well?
that's not a cantrip.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Thought
There
there
is
was
a
a way.
cantrip that does something like that, but that's just my ability that I now have because of the Psy Crystal.
Okay.
This.
Gotcha.
I don't know where your room is located. Stand in front of your room, because I would know which room you had. Okay.
Yeah. That's
So
on
you're
to the left.
3 doors down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was wondering if someone was gonna bring them up.
Yeah.
Okay, I am back.
Okay. So, after I wanted to just sit in my room for about 30 minutes. After being in there, and in that 30 minutes, I just want to listen to see if I hear anyone like walking past my room or whatever. Like if there's maybe anyone on patrol or something.
In this area, you don't hear anybody walking, like past your room or anything like that.
All right. I'm gonna sit on my bed, and I'm gonna cast the Arcane Eye spell. And I'm going to, using the Arcane Eye for an hour, I'm going to scout around the fortress as best as I can.
And are you opening your door so I can pass?
Yeah, I'll just open my door an inch, because, I mean, is there any space at the bottom of the door that it can squeeze through, or is it not big
There is
enough?
not. It is airtight.
Okay, yeah, I'll open my door an inch and let my eye out, and then control it from there.
Okay, no problem. I'm just gonna confirm, is everybody else still actually here? Because nobody else said anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually just got back.
Cool.
Did I miss anything?
No, Steven is casting Arcane Eye to scout the prison.
Wonderful. Time to all die.
Time to become prisoners.
And is fast asleep and ignorant to everything going on.
So, directly from my door, what all can I find? Like, that my eye can pass through.
Well, where exactly are you scouting?
I want to scout anywhere that I can, because I know that there's some places that I won't be able to get to. But
Okay, the only place that you can scout, because the rest of them have doors that go from sewing to floor. It's going to be the mess hall that you were just in and the hallway outside your room. and then you run into 3 doors when you try to go in any of the other directions. You run into a door here, and a door here.
Okay. Oh, can I look and see if there's any, like... you said all these doors are airtight, so
Correct.
are there any, like, you know, air vents in the ceilings, walls, to allow airflow at all?
There is. As well as 1 inch in diameter. Yeah, I'd say that you could probably squeeze into the air vents. I'd say that their bars aren't closer than 1 inch together.
Cool. So I will send my eye through the air vent, through an air vent I find, and try to find my way around using the air vents.
Okay, and what exactly are you looking for?
Well, I want to see if I can, because I can hear, right? Or can the eye only see? Visual information. Okay. Still, that's fine. But no, I want to look for, like, the armory, possibly to see if there's anything there. But I'm looking for anything possibly suspicious, because I know this prison is run by the Lord's Alliance, but I don't know where this particular warden's allegiances lie. So, want to see if I can find anything about that. Like, see if I can find any, like, paperwork or something that showing who he serves directly. She. Yeah, sorry. So maybe if I can find her office or something, the warden's office.
Do you want to go to the central tower then?
If that's where her office would be.
That's where you most likely believe it would be.
Okay, then yeah.
Okay. So you sort of get it around these cells, and then you get it into the... sort of send it in through the arrow slits of the central tower. And you watch as all the guards' eyes turn to look at the eye as you enter the central tower.
It's invisible!
I'm aware. So all of their heads sort of follow it. One of them panics and then says into a central speaker, Warden, an inmate is casting spells. And then, you hear from across the hallway, the warden come out, and you think you hear him say a word. Make a perception check for me.
Oy. How was I supposed to know that all these guards fucking see invisibility? What the fuck? Oh no. Perception? Hey, pretty good.
Alright, so you hear the warden mutter... Where is it? Maristo. As he says this, you watch as all of the ever-burning torches in all of your rooms turn a shade of blue. They all turn this dark color of blue all throughout the prison, and a sort of siren begins to blare throughout the entire prison.
I'm gonna drop the spell and then act like I was sleeping. So I'm gonna, because I was already like laying in my bed, but I was concentrating on the spell with my eyes closed. So I'm just gonna drop the spell, make the eye disappear, and then just, you know, stay laying in my bed, not moving.
And everybody else, all of your You guys notice a sudden color change in all of your room's torches, and you guys start hearing this extremely loud siren, waking you all up from your sleep.
Do I know which room Adrogast is in? I think, right? I do. It's the top one, right?
Yeah, top
Correct.
floor, top room on the left.
Adrogast, I'm going to assume this was you.
Is the warden around? Where did the warden go? Hello?
You guys see me? Make a perception check. You're inside your room. You don't know.
Ugh.
Brandon, you saw the warden briskly beginning to run towards the guard center that you'd seen before.
Okay. I'm going to.
And you saw that before, like entering his room.
Okay. I'm going to draw my rapier and buckler, and I'm going to be like, Adrogast, you might as well come with me and create a show.
Hmm? Okay, what for?
What's going on? Where's the warden? I'm gonna say to these three right here.
He's going towards the central command tower, and you watch as
Where?
these three guards begin heading towards
There we
the
go.
hallway that you guys were just in. Heading towards the kitchen, it seems.
Okay.
One of them stays behind.
I'll follow Ferrando. Doing what I'm told.
Just gonna stick my head out of the hallway just to see if anybody comes down this way.
What's happening? What's going on?
One of the inmates seems to have gotten their hands on some spellcasting materials. We saw an arcane eye scouting throughout the prison.
Is it really worth all of this hullabaloo?
Of course it is. What do you think would happen if a prisoner got their hands on spellcasting materials?
Used it for an eye. Oh, I
To scout
suppose we
the
have to-
prison, and presumably a way out. There's only one prisoner that I believe is capable of casting such a spell. And you see him walk over to this cell right here. Prisoner 237, I'm coming in. You watch as he snaps his fingers, and the portcullis that was in front of the cell ascends, and the warden goes in and says, Prisoner 237 against the wall. You watch as he sort of presses himself against the wall, and the warden begins tearing through his room, leaving it in an absolute mess.
I'm just going to... What would it be to look around the room just with my eyes? I'm not going to make a scene about it, but would it be perception?
Yes, that'd be perception.
Okay. Perception.
With all the stuff that he's throwing on the ground, you don't see anything that could particularly be used to cast spells. You don't see any material components or anything like that.
I would know if there's any material components, and I don't know if I see any, but
You do not know.
okay.
It's a pretty bare room.
Ah, I see nothing here.
Prisoner 237, we will be talking about extending your sentence. You're the only one capable in this prison of casting such high-level magic. Aside from myself, of course.
Wait, he's only a 5th level wizard. He can't do 4th level spells. Liar!
Right, you watch as he snaps his fingers and the portcullis drops again with a loud bang. You see that the room is still very overturned. Everything is still on the floor and in, like, shambles. Then you hear him say Maristo once again, and the alarms stop and the lights go back to their normal hue.
Well, that was adventurous. I suppose it's time we go back to sleep, yes?
Yeah, thanks for waking me up, Warden.
Well, I can't exactly keep my prison safe unless I know that there aren't inmates casting spells.
Yes, be reasonable, Adragast. The warden must do his job, and we are but guests in his home.
Alright, give me 1 second. I'm going to roll an insight check on the warden.
Against what?
Oh, good. At least they changed all the character sheets to be always whisper rolls. Insight is wisdom. The warden doesn't suspect shit.
Good.
With a 9, he does not suspect anything.
Alright, Adragast, let's go. Enough bothering the warden. Back to bed, Isaac. It's nothing important.
Oh, good. I was wondering if you were starting the war without me. Good night.
You guys see like a parade of guards as you guys go back to your hallway. All sort of with weapons cursing underneath their breaths. As they head back to their individual barracks.
You said they're cursing underneath their breaths?
Yes.
Yeah, because they were woken up.
Oh. I was thinking a more sinister reason, but yeah.
Because I didn't get to kill the guy?
Yeah, because they didn't get to kill like a prisoner or something. Was I thinking like, damn it, I didn't get to kill anyone. Like... God, this prison's no joke though. That's for sure. I didn't really see much though with my eye, right?
Nope. You got to the central tower, you went into the arrow slit, and then you watched as all the guards turned to look.
How did they sense my eye or something?
Probably have wards or some sort of enchantment to detect invisibility. Which would make sense in a high security prison.
Something you guys will have to figure out. Or ask questions to learn. Alright, so you guys all go back to bed for the night.
Sure.
What do you mean? I never left that.
Okay, you guys all find yourselves back to rest.
Did the warden tell us what spell was used? Did he say
Arcane.
it?
Alright, he said arcane eye.
Okay. Alright.
And then I'll before I go to sleep, once I enter my room and I know Fernando's in his room, I will telepathically respond to his question earlier, saying yes, that was my eye.
Alright. Oh, I'm in the room with Felon. This was my room, right here. Boom. Okay.
Why are there two people in this room, in the room below me, by the way?
Because Adrian's
Because that's
sitting
where
on
they
the floor.
decided to situate themselves.
Oh, okay,
Always stay with Karn.
got it.
especially after trying to kill him.
Oh, because you
Yeah.
feel bad?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'll just sleep. And at the end of this long rest, I'm going to... I'm going to swap out prestidigitation for friends.
Okay. Alright, you guys all wake up the next morning, making your way out into the hall and back into the mess hall, which this connects to. You guys see a very tired warden, sort of plucking the bridge of his nose in between his eyes, and sighing as he's looking over a mountain of paperwork.
My goodness, what could all this be about?
Whenever the prison goes into high alert, I need to fill out paperwork detailing exactly what caused it, who casted the spell, where it was cast, or who had managed to escape, or who tried to escape, who was injured, and if pretty much detailing the entire situation. The issue is, I cannot send this back to Neverwinter without completing my report, and I still don't know which prisoner casted the spell. The guard's search has turned up nothing.
Well, maybe it wasn't a prisoner. And maybe, do you have any enemies outside the prison? Any allies that you know of that might want to break a prisoner out? Or allies of the prisoners, is what I meant, but yes. I know what I'm saying.
If there's any way we can be of assistance, you need only say so. Your hospitality more than warranted.
You're right, maybe it wasn't a prisoner. Are there any spellcasters amongst you?
Yeah, he is.
dabble in divine soul sorcery, but I can assure you that in my there is nothing that equates to what seems to have been the issue last night.
What about you, Half-Elf? You don't look quite like a fighter to me.
No, I am a wizard.
There would be none amongst my party that would have any reason to snoop about. We have complete access to the grounds.
Is that true? Are you speaking the truth?
I mean, we have access to everything.
Well, we were already told you can't go that way. Adragas specifically was told, you can't go that way. You're coming with me.
Okay.
So we don't really have free reign in here.
We're just not prisoners.
I mean, the kitchen is over there. Should we need a snack, we can leave at our own discretion, at least to peruse the roundabouts where the prisoners are. What would be the point of any of what you're suggesting?
You know, I suppose you're correct.
If there is
But
something
still,
we can
none
do
of the
to
prisoners
assist.
cast the spell, and you all are the only ones left here. Aside from myself.
Would you like to peruse our rooms for incantation ingredients?
I assure you I have nothing to hide.
If it settles the matter expeditiously, then go ahead, search the rooms.
May I assist, dear Warden? I would like to talk with you, if possible.
We can speak. Let me just take you to my office. It's in the central tower.
Lead the way.
His office is, I think it's this one.
Unlucky, Adrian has spellcasting focuses on her.
Stop moving your token.
I'm sorry, I did. Ah.
I also have a spellcasting focus. He wouldn't find any spellcasting components in my room.
All right. Do you know if we are in private, that we are not being watched?
This room has wards.
Am I gonna have to leave the voice channel for a second?
Or should we do the
You just
No, we'll move over to DM 101.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, just
Okay.
do that. If you want it to be a private conversation.
Well, now.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Adrian does have spell stuff.
Spell components.
Some. Probably not for Arcane. I don't know what that requires.
It requires bat fur. A bit of bat fur.
Definitely don't have that. But dude's a wizard, he would also know that spellcasting focuses can achieve the same thing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I only have druidic spellcasting focuses.
I just think it's funny that he said that he could cast a spell when he really can't. Because he can't cast that shit, he's only level 5.
Yeah, I caught that too. I was like, oh.
Like, I just
You know,
barely
that
got 4th
person
level
knows
spells.
that he's level 5.
True. I don't know that Strando hasn't shared any information about him.
I could say
he
that I did.
wouldn't be like, ah, yes, he's level 5.
No, but he could tell. He
He'd
could
be
tell.
like, "Ah, well,
But he would
he's-
understand. He would understand that I'm a stronger wizard than he is, and I just barely got access to that spell.
Did you say that you just barely got access to that spell?
Yeah, like
I don't
when-
know. I wouldn't know that aloud though. Like unless you told me that you just barely got that, because I don't know what you can or cannot cast. I don't know your spell.
Well, but I mean, I told you guys that I got access to a new level of spells when I hit level 7, because that's how I was able to cast.
But unless
Polymorph.
unless I were a wizard, I wouldn't know which ones.
Right,
I think
right.
That's how I think to play that. But
But yeah, like when I hit level 7, I told you guys about the new spell that I got, the polymorph spell.
yes, but I didn't know. I didn't know about the
That's
eye.
all that you shared.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh my god, there's this cool thing. I'm gonna turn you into a fucking monkey.
As a last resort, yeah.
And we're like, oh, well,
Last
that's
is the
wonderful,
turn to-
Adragast. Good job. We're so proud of you.
I'm a strong wizard. Shush you.
I understand.
Am I
Turn him
supposed
into an
to
actual
say
monkey
that?
Well,
instead of a giant ape.
You can try.
Your friend, a villain, is able to cast spells, and I don't know that she's going to be okay for them.
Oh no, they're talking bad about you.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Bad things. They're gonna throw you in jail.
I don't think so.
So,
Okay, then you can just play Jillian.
Yeah, if Jillian makes it out of the fucking dragon's den alive. I already gave control of Jillian over to Maya, so she's had control of Jillian for months now.
Augers.
But I don't think, even if Adragast dies, I don't know if I... Well, actually, if Adragast dies and Jillian makes it back alive, then I probably would go back to playing Jillian if she decided to rejoin the group.
I'm worried about what Andrew's gonna try and pull.
I don't know.
hey, at least it's him talking, not Karin.
I didn't realize he has a +6 to persuasion. Makes sense given he's a sorcerer, so that's charisma would be his
So yeah,
modifier.
high charisma.
Yeah. I have a +2, but I'm proficient in persuasion. So
I only know if people are lying. I can't lie.
I can't lie either.
Not
don't-
like I would even try to lie.
I'm very good at investigation and history checks and arcana checks.
I mean, that's important.
Medicine, perception,
Oof!
survival.
Rip the nat one on persuasion.
That's why you let me roll that shit.
Oh, looks like we're spending the night in jail.
Adrian has no affiliation with these people.
Exactly. Adrian and Karn were here together, knowing nothing about it. Karn almost broke the siren.
Even though Adrian went to a magic school to learn spells and become a wizard, and has notes about spells and a spellcasting focus and some components, does not mean that Adrian can cast spells. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Huh?
While I'm waiting, I'm playing The Witcher 3, and I just fell off a cliff.
Very good
Well,
game.
it's almost time for me to get going.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock, so probably after their one-on-one conversation, we'll probably end the session.
See what consequences, if there are any.
Understand that this is a prison. We hold the worst criminals that the Lord's Alliance has ever seen. We cannot risk anybody slipping in here and casting spells or providing aid to these prisoners.
Oh, nope, just fell off the cliff again.
And I would like to see that returned in full.
Steam's got a Napcom brandy sale going on. Van Dye, whatever you want to call it.
Good. Then it seems very rigorous. We can go back and begin the investigations. Alright, you guys see,
Your mic is really quiet.
you guys see,
There you go.
Oh man, those persuasion checks are bad.
Isaac and the warden come back into the room. Flanked by two guards. We've determined that it could be one of your spellcasters. In which case, we will need to be taking a look at both of their spellbooks, as well as their prepared spells.
Well, they
And what
they
was-
don't know what spells we have prepared, though.
Yes, they do. The way that a wizard prepares their spells is they copy them into a book, and then those spells get consumed. That is the way that preparing spells work. You copy your spells into a book and mark them as which ones you have prepared because you have to memorize them for the day.
Yeah, you
And
remember.
then once it's used, it disappears from the prepared list of spells that you have.
That's not how it works.
That's how they track spell slots. That's how they determine.
No, but when you prepare a spell, you don't get one use of that spell.
No, you don't. You get a use of that spell slot.
But your prepared spells, because wizards have a spell book, and then they reference that spell book at the start of their day and choose their prepared spells by memorizing those spells for the day. So that's how they know what spells they can cast for the days, because they just, and then for ritual spells they can reference the book to ritually cast it if they need to do that, but they don't have a separate book. They have one spell book that contains all their spells, and then they just choose from those spells to prepare for the day.
1 second. Either way, they're going to check your prepared spells by making you try to cast the spells in your book, if that's the case.
That's fine. But yeah, as I say, they can't just know what spells we have prepared. They can see what spells are in our spell book, sure. But
Like I said, if that's the case, they're just going to have you go through your spell list and try to cast the spells that you know. Because if it's a high level prison.
yeah, and they're just gonna waste all my spell slots doing so.
Yes, they will. Absolutely.
And do they know the level wizard that he is?
They'll be able to tell which spells he can and cannot cast.
Okay.
Either way, Denny has to go soon.
But Adrian's not really involved in this, so you guys
Yeah.
can just do it all.
Yes, so it is memorization, in which case they are going to have you go through and attempt to cast the spells after looking through your spellbook.
Cast what spells though?
All of them. They're going to have you attempt to cast each spell that you have listed in your spellbook. And the ones that you can't cast, they know are not prepared.
Well, I don't have enough spell slots for that shit. Like, look at, like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes, but you cannot cast all those spells anyway.
I know that, but I have
You can only cast the ones that you have prepared.
8 first level spells. And only 3 first level spell slots because I always cast mage armor at the start of each day.
Sure, but they aren't going to assume that you have all 8 first level spells prepared.
And also, I have only 3 third level spell slots, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 third level spells prepared.
So we'll see where it's.
Like, I don't see how them making us cast every single spell does anything. I don't see what that does.
I mean, out of game, there is a hole from which you can then deceive if you really were trying to play the math correctly. Because you could upcast a first level spell. There is a hole in their logic that you could utilize.
They would be able to tell that it's upcast, though.
Yeah.
The amount of magic that's put out.
Yeah. This is a level 5 wizard, so the upcasting... Like, you'd have to go beyond what a level 5 wizard could do to dupe them on wizardry, I think, right?
Well, not only that, but there are low-level wizards that are still very knowledgeable in higher-level castings.
But I just don't see what this does out of character. I'm not arguing with you, and I'll play along, but whatever. But like, I just don't see how them making us cast all our spells will do anything.
Would be process of elimination.
Correct. The ones that you are not able to cast means that you do not have those spells prepared.
Right.
So going through each of your level 4 spells, because Arcane Eye is a level 4 spell, having you cast each of your level 4 spells tells them which one you do and do not have prepared.
Well, I only
So how
have
many spell slots
I only
do you
have one
left?
4th level spell slot, total,
Sure.
So
So
then
you
they'll
have this
know...
first level spell slot.
and I have 2 4th level spells.
Correct. But you only
So-
have you most likely only have one of those prepared.
Right
But do
now,
you
I
have
do.
both
Yeah.
of those prepared? Okay,
No.
so you cast polymorph and...
I
or
have
whatever for
polymorph
the-
is the one I have prepared right now because I swapped it because I changed that. I changed it at the beginning of the day, but they
So
don't
then
know
you would
that.
cast polymorph. No, they don't know exactly. So you'd cast polymorph, and then you would be like, "See." So that's what you'd do, and then you'd be innocent.
Yeah, like I said, I'm fine. I'm gonna play
When I
along.
checked your list before having that conversation with Andrew, you had Arcane Eye prepared.
Because I casted it the previous day, but when I
When I checked before they had that conversation, because you were hearing me have that conversation, you had Arcane Eye.
No. So like I said, because I casted Arcane Knight the previous night, and then when we woke up,
Yes,
And we-
correct. But I am saying that when you woke up, before they had that conversation, you had Arcane Eye prepared.
Yeah,
You
because
did not have Polymorph prepared. Before they had that conversation.
I had both.
Meaning you
No,
changed it during the course of that conversation.
no. You didn't. Then you, if you think I had polymorph not prepared, then you didn't actually look, because I had both polymorph and arcane eye prepared last night. But, like I said, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, because I swapped my prepared spells when I added friends, because remember I swapped Prestidigitation for friends. That was when I did that. I also swapped arcane eye, because when I prepared arcane eye on the day previous, because before coming to the prison, I undid Ray of Enfeeblement for Arcane Eye, so I had both Polymorph and Arcane Eye prepared. I cast out Arcane Eye last night, and then at the start of this day, I swapped out Prestidigitation for friends, and then unprepared Arcane Eye and re-prepared Ray of Enfeeblement.
Okay, well, either way, this is still going to create a problem if that's the case.
What?
So what you're saying?
Out of game, but that's going to create a problem in game, and you will see why.
Do you need me to tell you when I change my prepared spells, so I need to notify you?
I need you to tell me which spells you are preparing for the day. If you are changing your spells, I need to know what you are changing them to.
Okay.
That's something that you need to tell the DM. When you are changing spells, you need to tell the DM what you are changing spells to. Absolutely, yes. That is something that you should be doing. That shouldn't even be a question. Yes, you need to tell me.
I wasn't aware because I've never had to do that before. Like when we take a rest, it's assumed when you take a rest that you're allowed to change.
You need to tell the DM what you're changing them to. You're allowed to change them, but you need to inform the DM what you are changing them to, so the DM knows which ones you have and do not have prepared.
You can look on my sheet to know what ones I have prepared. You can look on my sheet and see what ones I have red dot. Those are the ones that are prepared.
Yes, but then you can change those dots, which is why I need you to tell me before.
You think I'm a scummy player that I'll just change my prepared spells on the fly?
I think that a lot of players do that, yes. Which is why I want you to tell me if you change your prepared spells.
Whatever, I'll tell you.
So I know which ones you have prepared.
I'll tell you going forward, I guess. I just didn't think it was that big of an issue.
When we hit situations like this is when it becomes an issue. Because like I said, when I looked before, you had it prepared.
Yeah, because you looked before I had swapped out friends and stuff.
No, I looked before we had the conversation. Before me and Andrew went into the conversation, I looked at your prepared spells.
For funsies' sake, were we totally in the clear before Isaac tried to negotiate? I thought I had persuaded him.
Isaac made the situation worse.
That's what I figured with those persuasion rolls.
I can tell you that you weren't completely out of the water, but it made it worse.
Gotcha.
I mean, yes and no. There's possibility for it being much better, but there's also no possibility for it being much worse. We'll just leave it at that.
Should we just play the scene then?
Yeah, but we're gonna be playing the scene of them having them attempt to cast the spells that they have.
Okay.
Sure, whatever.
I don't mind you being exhaustive, that is your job. Hypothetically, if one of my compatriots were guilty, what would become of them?
I've already discussed this with Lord Elvastar here.
You don't care to share?
He's extended me the process of whoever casts the spell would be going back to Waterdeep for further investigation, and if both of them are not able to cast a spell, they will be returning to Neverwinter for further investigation.
It's confusing to determine why one versus the other, but I suppose that was between the two of you.
I'm not sure what you mean by one versus the other.
You said if one or both? Why would the location change? This is what is
Because
curious
if both
to me.
are unable to cast a spell, then we're going to need somebody who is a bit more adept at these sorts of things to go through and look through their memory, which would require Neverwinter. If one of them is able to cast a spell, then we know that they are the ones that casted the spell, and they will be going to Waterdeep for further investigation. We need to understand if their motives were to help break out one of the prisoners here.
Hmm. I'm just gonna be sitting there in thought, like, I'm not gonna like pause the scene just so I can think.
It looks like both of you know the Arcane Eye spell. Attempt to cast it for me, please.
I'll attempt to cast the Arcane Eye spell.
It appears that both of you are unable to cast the spell. So I'll ask you outright, which one of you cast it last night?
Why does it have to be one of us?
Because you two are the only ones capable of casting the spells, as far as what has been brought to my attention. We have found nobody else within the prison, and we found an Arcane Eye, and both of you conveniently happen to know the spell.
Out of curiosity, when one casts a spell, are not the ingredients consumed?
Not if they have a spellcasting focus, which both happen to have.
Yes, but if 237 had the items at hand, they would have been consumed, gone.
We would have seen the remnants of it, and we saw no such remnants. So again, I'll ask both of you, honestly, which one of you casted the spell. We can save this entire headache. Conclude the investigation and your intentions here.
I know who did it.
Good. Who was it? I'd rather they not be sent to Neverwinter or Waterdeep.
Adregast is protective. He is my ward.
I understand that you were a member of the Order of the Gauntlet, correct?
Indeed.
For what reason would you need a ward?
I will need you to accompany me to where eyes cannot see.
I can take you and Adregast, I believe that was the half-elf's name, to my office, and we can discuss this further.
Indeed.
Does anybody else in the party need to attend?
No, and it is best if they don't.
Alright, you guys are accompanied by 2 guards. I need to move you. You weren't supposed to be there. And 2 guards.
Sorry, I'm not trying to move my token. I was trying to move the thing. Alright.
It should be good.
He goes over and he sits down in his desk. I will move us to the other call if we need to, or is this something that doesn't need, like, to be...
I think everyone here
private in
knows.
character and not private, like, out of character.
I think, yeah, we don't need to move.
Okay.
Warden, I do not understand why you would prefer guards in the room, but is there any chance they can be left outside?
We still don't know your intention of Adregast, but I believe that I am more than sufficient to subdue him. He nods at the guards, and they leave to stand outside the door.
I appreciate you willing to give us privacy. I hold up my wrist. Show me what is lost.
A harper.
Indeed. I'm not just here on I'm not just here on a mission for Hawkwinter family. In fact, actually, I'm here specifically due to the Harper's request.
And what exactly is it that you are here to do?
We are here to end the rhyme. To what end the Harpers want to do that, that is not for me to tell. That is, fortunately, far beyond my rank.
I believe you, but why would they send you?
And then I'm gonna telepathically ask, kind of as like a display of force, or a display of like how powerful I am, kind of. But so he'll telepathically, I'll say to him, before we answer that question, where do your allegiances lie? As I kind of just give him like a grimace stare.
Adrigast, I believe your
No,
perusing the castle has expended our goodwill. Let me answer the man's question.
You didn't hear that. That was telepathically to him.
Gotcha.
He'll say aloud, I believe you can speak with words. Those outside cannot hear in here. This room is protected with words.
If to answer the question of why they
answer
sent
my
me,
question then.
My allegiances lie with the Lord's Alliance. I want what's best for the Sword Coast, and that means keeping the prisoners in here secure so they cannot escape.
Adrigast, I understand you are worried, I understand you are careful, but please, let us not expend more of the Warden's goodwill. To answer your question of why they sent me, I would need a demonstration of combat. That is why they sent me. I am an expert at martial combat. The only way for me to demonstrate that would be through combat. I specialize in keeping others alive, and I specialize in manipulating the battlefield. In combination with the skill set of everyone else in the Wayfaring Strangers, I believe we have the tools necessary to take a chance on ending the rhyme.
What family are you from, boy?
Hawkwinter, though they have no affiliation in this plan. If you know any of the recent happenings with the Hawkwinter family, I am not among those.
Make a persuasion check.
Do better than me, please.
When it fucking matters, god damn it.
Sorry, I totally jinxed it by singing that.
I believe you. I believe that you can manipulate the battlefield, but I don't believe that you're telling me the entire truth of why you were sent here.
I'll answer that if I know I can trust you.
I already told you. My loyalty lies within the Lord's Alliance and what is best for the Sword Coast.
Then can we agree that Never Ember is not the best for the Sword Coast?
Lord Never Ember is an upstanding member of Neverwinter. He is the Open Lord currently, and as far as I know, he has had no issues with the people. I know that his methods behind a shroud aren't the nicest, but he does have the best in mind for the people.
What's the name of the devil again?
Asmodeus.
Asmodeus.
We
are here to try and thwart Asmodeus. We do not know which of the lords are aligned with Asmodeus, and surely you've heard that my father, Garen, has been dabbling.
I've read an article, but I assumed it to be heinous. I didn't believe a word of it. But if his son is saying that there may be signs, then perhaps there are.
As I look kind of deeply enraged and upset with the whole thing. My father is guilty.
What evidence did you witness to this?
We would unfortunately have to confide with the Harpers in order for me to give the permission for this evidence. There is a contact in Brynshanda, though I'm not sure she survived.
Are you saying that the Harpers are aware that he's affiliated with the Asmodeus?
You can understand why they generally keep those things under wraps. Could you imagine wild accusations being hurled around? The lordships would be thrown into chaos. Peasants might try to overturn everything. Information such as this should be handled with care. That is why I don't go around preaching it at every sudden opportunity.
Well, from what I understand, your father is a wise owl in the Harpers, meaning that he is among the council within the Harpers. I don't believe that the Harpers would know this and not do anything about it unless they were aligned with him. In which case, you showing me you're a Harper isn't as outstanding as I would have liked it to be.
No, it's not. I will admit that.
Do you believe that all the Harpers are involved, or only a few?
I don't know how deep it goes. I do know that there is a split within them regarding this matter. One such compatriot was sent packing as a result of his indiscretions.
The article that I read, it was by an author. Did you ever get the chance to meet him?
Yes. As a matter of fact, he was with us in the Dale until recently.
I don't see any
disobeyed
signs of
orders.
disruption in your voice. In that case, Aldragast, why exactly were you scouting my prison?
I was trying to find out who you were aligned with, or if there was anything fishy going on in the prison. That's all. My sole job is to protect Ferrando, and I was merely doing my job.
Please elaborate on why. Why does he need protection? If he is this master of the battlefield, he should not need your protection.
I said master of the battlefield, not master of magics. I don't know my way around a spellbook, as you can plainly see.
And I can't divulge that information unless I know I can fully trust you, and if you trust Neverember, I can't trust you.
I don't know.
And if you-
That Neverember is among the people who are worshipping Asmodeus.
We have no such evidence.
But if you think Neverember is as good as you think he is, you should do your research better.
I have done my research. From what I understand, Neverember has done the best for the people of Neverwinter. While his methods may not
Did
always
you-
be the worst,
Well,
hold on. While his intentions may not always be the best, he has always had the people in his mind.
Adregast is particular with Neverember, but the reality is we don't know which in the Lord's Alliance shows allegiance to Asmodeus.
I don't know
Hence
about it.
why we are trying to be careful.
I don't know about allegiances to Asmodeus, but would you think the same of Neverember if he purposely went out of his way to kill every single heir to the throne so that way he could claim the throne?
Absolutely not.
Because
The Alagondar bloodline was full of the wisest kings that Neverwinter has seen, and if he is going out of his way to kill the kin of Neverember, may they rest in peace, then I don't believe that he would be best suited for the position, as killing children is not the best thing that somebody can do.
good. Now we have an understanding. Because have you ever heard of the Sons of Alagondar?
Islands, Adregast.
I have.
And what do you think?
I think the Sons of Alagondar went about it the wrong way. I don't believe that inciting a rebellion that could involve hundreds of innocent civilians was the best way that they could have done it. I understand that Neverember quelled them to a sense. He was able to save a few of them and have them work among him, to my understanding. I took that as a sign of mercy. While I do love the Alagondar bloodline, and I believe that they should be the rightful kings of Neverwinter, I don't believe that the method of inciting violence and riots that involve innocent people in their homes is the best way to go about it.
Correct. And I believe the same. But Neverember kills every Alagondar that he knows exists. And I have
So
I
know
have
the bloodline died years ago. All the paperwork points to it.
I have proof that says otherwise, and I know where the last
Adregast,
remaining.
you are speaking far beyond your rank. The Harpers would not have you speak of this.
I'm not of the Harpers, sir. I am I am one of the many-starred cloak, and I'm not going to be hindered by this warden and he seems like he would trust what I say, and he
It
could
is
be a
not
valuable
exclusively
ally.
your right to. It is not for you to divvy out trust when there are others who should be consulted on these matters.
And I'm going to telepathically tell Ferendo that I wasn't going to divulge who it was, just that I know that a son of Alagandar exists.
If there's no stopping you in releasing such precious information, then fine, make your peace with it.
I know that one son of Alagandar still remains alive.
You see his face sort of go into, like, a state of shock. All the paperwork says otherwise. The only way to prove it would be the crown of Neverwinter, which has been
Which is
lost for
why
years.
we are in Icewind Dale.
I know that one son of Alagandar is alive, and I know that Neverember also knows that there's one son of Alagandar alive.
Well, if there's one, then there may be more.
Precisely why we are trying to be extremely careful. Neverember, as you know, is behind the scenes ruthless. The mere suspicion would be enough for him to send out assassins. He wouldn't need proof. He doesn't need to answer to anybody. Not when it comes to matters such as this. In fact, he would rather permissions be killed as well. Anyone who knows this is at risk of death.
But if you
If you
truly...
share with me the information that you know, I can promise that you will have my support as well as those who are in allegiance with me within the Lord's Alliance. You will have our full support and we can provide you with the resources necessary, but only if you share the information with us.
I want to roll
Before we-
an insight check on that real fast to see if he's actually telling the truth or not.
I can't do this, and it doesn't make sense to do an assist on an insight check, right? I can't just like help.
Oh
you
no, we
insight
can.
something, Yeah.
Well, we can both roll insight checks though,
Okay.
because this is something we would both insight for sure.
Well, yeah. No, I agree.
No, fuck.
He seems to be being honest.
How do I know that you are being honest?
I have no way to prove it other than I can give you the resources that you need to search for the crown of Neverwinter.
In order for our story, in order for what we've told you to be real, we would need the crown anyway. Otherwise,
I
there would
can
be no
provide you the
reason.
resources to find it. That is what I am
Yes.
offering you.
Really?
Do you have? And then
If you share the information that you have with me, all of it, then I can provide you with the resources that you need to find the crown.
I will.
I have an extensive network of people throughout Neverwinter. I'm from there, as well as an extensive network of people within the Lord's Alliance that can divulge the information of where it could have been.
Well,
We will leave
Uh,
out one
well.
piece of information. You must allow me that.
but I will only agree to divulge what I know if you can promise me what you just promised me under a Zone of Truth spell. I cannot take any chances in this matter. I'm sure you can understand that.
I will step inside the circle as well.
I can agree to that.
Do what you do, Adragast. I shall relay the information, but I will be leaving one important detail out. The risk is too great. You must not
No.
know that piece of information. No one will.
A Zone of Truth spell I don't know, but clerics typically know Zone of Truth spells, is what I was kind of referencing. Does your cleric you have here, any of your clerics, do they know the spell? Most do.
They deal more with... Well, actually, we do have one, but they're involved with interrogations. They don't really use their services for this unless there's...
Need.
There's
as I raise an
there
eyebrow.
is good reason for it. Please summon them.
Just so you know, they are a bit twisted.
As long as you and I are the ones hearing the information, and I, just as a matter of courtesy, also step inside the circle as you will as well, all will be good should you allow me to remove one piece of information from all of this. I will tell you all otherwise.
I can't allow there to be secrets within a circle this small. If there are secrets, then I may not be able to help you in the ways that I need to.
The
Oh.
one secret I will not provide you with has very little to do with all of this. Trust me when I tell you what I do relay will blow your mind, as I smirk.
I believe that all information will be prudent in something like this. When it comes to things like this, we need to ensure that all of the sons of Alagonda are protected, if any
Oh.
remain.
And
So that you know of one, and I would need
Is-
to know who that one is.
tell
Is secrecy not protection?
oh,
Secrecy is not protection when it is within a circle this small. From what
telepathic.
I understand, only the three of us in this room will know such information.
Telepathically,
If the
I'll
three of-
tell Ferrando that I think if he can promise us what he just promised us under his Zone of Truth spell, I think he's trustworthy to know everything.
Fine. Brando's visibly shaking.
And
I'll
so yeah,
have him brought up.
but yeah, I'll telepathically tell that to Ferrando, and then I'll just put my hand on his shoulder.
The entire time, Isaac's just been sort of staring down the villain.
You guys will watch as the warden goes over to the door, opens it slightly, and then tells one of the veterans, "Bring us the chain, warden." Okay,
Isn't
what
that
were you saying
spicy?
before I interrupted you?
While we wait, can you, well, is there any magical means in which the information might leave this room? All possibilities must be put on the table. I don't care how paranoid it seems. I'm not divulging my one precious truth if it means that their lives are at risk.
There are wards throughout this entire area. This room in particular is warded to the point where people outside of it cannot hear what's in it, regardless of how close or how far away they may be.
What about the wish spell? I've heard it can do tremendous things.
The wish spell has been lost to history. Only the greatest of mages can cast it, and I don't know of any that are capable of such magic aside from Mordekainen himself. And he hasn't been
Adrugast.
seen for years.
Adrugast, would any of our enemies have access to this?
None that this information would pertain to, sir.
Fine, bring out the damn cleric. He casts the spell and he leaves.
I actually think they have to be in the zone of truth, don't they?
Nope. It's Zone of Truth is just a concentration spell. They just have to maintain concentration on it after they cast it, I believe.
But
I
it's,
don't think
it's
it's
line of sight,
vision.
right? Like they have to cast on a point that they can see, correct?
Yeah, so he comes into the
They can
room.
maintain it.
Yeah, so he comes into the
Yeah.
room, he casts it on a point he can see, and then he leaves the room.
Breaking line of sight of it would break concentration on the spell.
No, it doesn't. Only if the spell
No,
specifies
it doesn't
that.
even say within a point you can see. It just says within 60 feet.
Okay, so
Oh,
then,
okay,
yeah, we're
so
good.
we're good.
So he just cast it in the room from the other side. Well, actually, I don't know if the wards would allow that, but so he cast it with the door
Yeah,
open.
a point of your choice within range, so it doesn't even matter. They don't have to
Okay.
see. It's just what point within
But
range.
the wards would stop the spell, I assume. So they would have to have the door open. He casts the spell, and then he closes the door.
Yeah. Alright.
Well, it's not an anti-magic field. Like he can still cast the spell
Through the
like,
door?
in the room.
Oh, okay. Then whatever.
Alright.
It's not private sanctum, I don't believe.
But I will. But I am going to cast detect. When the cleric gets up here, I am going to cast detect magic, so that way I can see the zone of truth to know when like while it's active and when it's not. So
Alright.
You guys see as a pale, a pale-bodied man who seems fairly scrawny, but also muscular at the same time. They appear to have thin bones, but a muscular body.
Sinewy, yeah.
Comes up the stairs, and they have sort of sunken eyes on their face, and they are holding a lantern in their right hand. He comes up the stairs, and he goes in the room with the warden, and he says, "What is it that you need, sir?" You see as he sort of like does a grimacing chuckle with like a sly smile on his face.
You keep the most pleasant of company. Does anyone ever tell you that, Warden?
He is the best when it comes to divulging information.
Now then, have him cast the spell and have me out of my sight.
I need you to cast a Zone of Truth spell in here. I assume that you can do that for us. I can, but only if you grant me permission to take one of the prisoners downstairs. Which prisoner was it that you would like to take? 237?
We have not talked with 237. His competence needs to be protected, and I don't necessarily know if this individual would protect his psyche.
Leave the room for a moment, please. The chain warden leaves the room and the door closes, behind him. He's not known for keeping his victims alive after getting the information. So, you either get my resources, or you get 237.
Well, can we talk, at least talk with 237 before he takes him? Like, he can take 237 at the end of the day, right?
Anything that we
Sort
would
of
have.
privy to wanting it as soon as possible. I can give you 3 minutes with him and nothing more.
3 minutes?
That will suffice.
3 minutes will be enough.
Rush, come back into the room. You watch as the pale man comes back into the room. He cracked the door open to say it. And he comes back into the room and he sort of smiles. So I can take him. You can, but I want them to have 3 minutes with him beforehand. But that's too long. 3 minutes is not that long. You can hold off for 3 minutes. He sort of gets like a whiny sort of look on his face. If 2 minutes, I can give them 2. The warden sort of looks back to both of you.
If 237 doesn't give us what we want in 2 minutes, then he is disposed of anyway. We don't really exactly have time to pierce his defenses, verbal or otherwise.
2 minutes then.
2 minutes. You have a deal.
You watch as the face of the warden sort of curls into a smile. And he snaps his finger and...
The face of the warden?
The chain warden.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait a minute.
So he snaps his fingers and then speaks a word, and you guys watch as an arcane symbol appears on the ground and then disappears. And Adrigas, you can see that the Zone of Truth spell is active.
Okay.
He then leaves the room and closes the door.
No one can hear what is about to be said, correct? I looked at the
Well.
warden, I looked at Adrigast.
Nope.
They cannot.
And before I say anything, I need you to make that promise to me again.
I promise that I will give you the resources you need to find the crown of Neverwinter, provided that you give me the information you have.
And you promise never to not to divulge this information to anybody else ever.
I promise not to divulge the information to anybody who is not directly involved in the investigation.
And you won't give it to any of our enemies?
I will not.
Then let me speak what I must say. My real name is Frando Alagondor. Pleased to make your acquaintance. The one secret I was protecting is not that, though. Before I left the Hawkwinter estate, I spent a night with Olabella Hawkwinter, and a child was conceived. I don't care who knows that I live, so long as assassins target me. I do not even know where Dorabella resides. The Harpers were prudent to prevent me from knowing such information.
Tell me that your father, Garen, worships Asmodeus.
As far as I know, my father Garen worships Asmodeus. Cornelius was the one who wrote the missive against the wishes of the Harpers.
And you trust Cornelius' word over your father's.
My father is not a good man. I was adopted. When I was in the orphanage, Garen came for me. In my stead, he placed a babe. Never Ember took the bait, killed the babe, and never looked back. I was left alive, and Garen made it a sure point to let me know that it could happen at any time for me. The training I received from Garen was brutal, and I'll show the marks. He knew that I could be political leverage for the House Hawkwinter. After all, an Alagondor is one hell of a political ally.
In that case, you have my support. Once you've dealt with the Vrime, I will talk to the members that I know within the Lord's Alliance to provide you with the funds and material needed to search for the Crown of Neverwinter. Wherever it may be. We will also look into the falsification of the documents stating that everything had been dismembered. However, if Garen is involved in the cult of Asmodeus, there have been talks of the cults spreading throughout Neverwinter and Waterdeep itself.
I had planned to deal with the cult prior to reclaiming a throne that I only want to protect my child.
Unfortunately, it may be a bit too late. From what I understand, they're gathering the materials that they need to open the portals, and we aren't sure that we have the resources necessary to stop them.
We have to end the rhyme. I cannot promise you anything until that is finished.
I only hope that you can end it within time, so the portals aren't opened. If Avernus manages to spill into Material Plane, it will mean the end for many, many citizens.
Yes, I know the need is urgent. But if we don't end the rhyme, the people of Icewind Dale will die anyway. Not everyone has a fortress to stand behind.
I can lend you 5 of my troops to help you throughout Icewind Dale.
That is most generous. I appreciate it.
Provided that you can accommodate travel for them and the resources that they need.
We can cover rations and we can cover shelter. Well, actually,
My shelter can hold up to 9. So we can only...
so it will fit them?
My shelter will... One person in our party. We have 5 in our party. Not...
6 is Velen.
Nah, Velen doesn't count. Velen's not...
Velen's also able to cast her own dome, by the way.
Oh, yeah, because she did
Got
cast
that.
that spell.
Yeah.
She copied that spell from me, huh? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no,
I believe
she didn't.
between-
It's not a spell that she copied from you. She knew it already.
Oh, okay. Well,
I believe between you and Velen Adragast, we can actually hold
Yes.
an additional 5 members of the party.
yes, we can.
Are they comfortable with the risks? Do they know?
They won't be informed. They'll be informed that they need to accompany you, and nothing more. If you come to trust them, then you can tell them yourself.
Oh, I mean, I meant to say the dangers that we're going to be, frankly, running into. They may want to make peace with their families.
I don't plan to make them aware, as they're most likely to deny the assignment otherwise.
Well, we
Fair enough.
we appreciate the help either way. And as far as my identity, so everything's on the table. I am a member, one of the few surviving members of the Many-Starred Cloak. The Wizard Order solely in service to the Alagondar bloodline. I
Hence
served...
his stupid proclivities to be incredibly overbearing. I mean, really, in a prison, you didn't think they'd maybe see that.
I didn't
I'm
think
gonna
they...
smirk a little bit.
I didn't think that they would be able to see the eye, sir. It's supposed to be invisible.
Well, you see, the guards that are within the central tower have seen visibility casted on them every hour. They have a rotating shift of guards.
And I apologize for the rudeness of me snooping around, but I'm sure, knowing what you know now, you understand why.
I understand, but please don't do it again.
Now that I know that I can trust you, there's no need.
Well, this was absolutely exhausting. Let's get our 2 minutes. And that probably a good idea to do that next session when everyone's there for their 2 cents. Otherwise,
Yep.
no one
Because we
understood.
will be ending the session now that this conversation is ended.
Okay. Sweet deal.
We've made a lot of progress this session, I'm not gonna lie.
What was supposed to be, like, I guess, I don't know. I guess we did the things, so.
I'm glad that
You guys did a lot of prep work this session, is what I should say. You guys got a lot of prep work done this session.
Yeah.
towards cold, and now we have an actual semi-powerful ally. Yeah.
We do need political allies. So.
I am so sorry about possibly sending you to Neverwinter. I did not. If I had rolled a little better,
Yeah.
I would have.
I mean, you got to go for the roles on the things you're actually like good in. Like your plus 6 to persuasion's a good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like
And I
it
was
would
trying
hurt.
to. Out of game, obviously. I was trying to get them to believe that Velen was the person who did it, so that we could get her locked up here, and get all of the materials. And
Yeah.
then pretty much because we now have all the information, then we would just sort of get her locked up and kept, and we could just go forward.
I mean, I would go for it, but yeah.
Yeah, and I would have been fine with that too, but all is well that ends well, because luckily this guy actually cares about the Alagondar bloodline and doesn't follow
Blind
Neverember.
Date Element. Yeah.
Yeah, like God, that's like that. That's because just because you're part of the Lord's Alliance and serve the Lord's Alliance, you could just be a diehard fan of Neverember and not give a shit about the Alagondars.
Yeah, he's actually a popular king. Like,
I mean, I'm technically a Lord's Alliance member, so you've never asked what my feelings on Neverember are.
oh, and
Yeah,
that
but you
reminds
don't-
Me, I'm gonna
but you
add
don't
one
know that-
thing.
You don't know the secret about Ferrando, though.
Yeah.
And I also don't think you know the secret about Neverember too. Like Neverember is an outstanding king from
Oh, yeah,
every
and-
entity.
From my view, he's been a very firm hand, but he's been a very good as far as keeping things in line. You know.
He's
I
good
gotta
at
feed
keeping
this
his
dog.
public image high.
Yeah. I gotta feed my dog, but I just want to say that we're gonna asterisk add that, like, who knows in the party and who doesn't, and who
Yeah.
should remain like ignorant.
Yeah,
I think we should add that
say
information.
everyone but Isaac knows. So
No, Karn does not know of the Alagondar bloodline.
I thought he was there when.
You mentioned that you are an Alagondor, but nothing more than that.
See,
Well, he was there when the girl eavesdropped on you guys, and they came out.
Oh,
and
that's
told you.
right. That's right.
but
Okay,
it was
so
but
the
it was
only one who
Dury
doesn't
that
know
knew, and Isaac doesn't
Yeah.
know.
Isaac does
so.
not. Okay. I gotta go feed this
Okay,
dog. But
good to know.
So Isaac doesn't know. All right, and we tell the warden that. All right, let me go feed
Yeah.
this dog.
Yep.
That was, yes, win in a sense.
All of our wizards got sent away to Neverwinter.
What?
Did that not happen?
More like you guys secured a very powerful ally within the Lord's Alliance.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I was going to divulge this, but I guess it wasn't necessary because you didn't. Actually, I guess it actually isn't necessary because I was going to divulge how I knew that Ferrando was an Alagondar, but he's under the Zone of Truth spell, and he said he was, so that's proof enough.
Man, it's like every time something goes terribly wrong, I just have to divulge my secret every fucking time.
Well, hey, luckily, like I
It's
said,
the biggest bargaining chip you guys have. So.
Yeah.
but yeah, it worked out this time.
Yeah. It's a doozy.
All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. Can't wait to see how these chips fall now that we've set them all up.
Let's live.
I was saying that. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, our chances of living just got improved because we just got 5 new people to help us.
Yep. And you'll probably now have the support to go directly to end this rhyme, which would be fun.
Pretty
You
much,
know?
yeah. I don't know if we're supposed to end the
Um,
rhyme at level 7, but they're gonna damn well try.
Yeah, let's fight a god at level 7. That's a great idea.
We're not gonna. We don't necessarily have to kill the Frostmaiden in order to end the rhyme, because if the rumors are true about the device in the Nether East City that can end the rhyme, then like that would be option 2.
I hope so.
Yeah, option A is the artifact. Option B is killing a god, but I don't think we can do that at level 7.
We shall find out. I hope not. I hope we don't have to fight a god, because that I can only imagine that's going to be like some ridiculous level shit, you know? Is there even a?
There
you're
are
not gonna
there are stats for Oro in the book, I'm sure. Because like that like I know for a fact that because she's the one causing the rhyme, that killing her is an option to end the rhyme.
That
It's
would be
just it's just a
fascinating.
matter of if you can do it. But I have no idea what her stats are. I just know that she has stats because Amaya has told me.
Well, I'll try to not metagame with that knowledge.
I have adjusted such stats to be more deity-like, so...
Oh yeah, you did tell me that too.
That
She-
makes more sense.
She buffed her stats from the book.
Cool.
Makes sense.
It was super weak from the book, like, you guys could have killed her at level 6, so... Yeah, I made her stats more deity-like. So it's not just gonna be some boring encounter.
Good.